So, right, people, let's get started. Hit that like, share the show, everybody. We're about to get started. Very exciting. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait. Come on. It's a real show. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm Hal Sparks, your host. The Hal Sparksiest Hal Sparkser in the entire spectrum of Hal Sparksing. And there is a spectrum. We Hal Sparks on the spectrum over here, and it's totally fine. Before I get to, first of all, let's just say hello, chat room, because you're who make this show possible. Share the show out on your socials. Let people know this is what you're watching right now. Drag their booties in here, because they're going to need to see some of the right-wing copium that we're seeing. Is just, it's some of the sweetest, it's the sweetest batch I've ever seen. It's right-wing copium on a level that no one's ever seen before. So sweet, so good, and yet tart, and with a woody, oaky aftertaste or whatever, and nice threads to it when you hold it up to the light and spin it, that also in many ways will pearl your teeth, curl your hair, and give your tongue a sleigh ride. It is that good. It is the best copium I think I've ever graced these sweet lips. Let me tell you. And it's okay. First of all, if you don't mind, chat room, since we're just starting up, and anybody who's just joined in here, and hi Instagram, hi everybody on Shitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Twitch, and on our dear friends at YouTube, where we've had seemingly the deep state, the evil deep state, the dark deep state, the dark state. That's what we call it, the dark state. I'm the deep state. Don't forget. That has been coming after us, has been, I guess, trying to destroy the algorithm, and they can't do it. They cannot do it. We're just going to keep swinging. And before we get into the review of the reviews, which are very revealing, can we take a short trip down real news lane? Because we have remarks from the city of Springfield, Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, I shit you not, the city of Springfield, whose town motto is "Forward Together," would like 2 minutes and 49 seconds of your time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Heck, City Manager for the city of Springfield, Ohio. Springfield is a dynamic community with many positive attributes. It is disappointing that some of the narrative surrounding our city has been skewed by misinformation circulating on social media and further amplified by political rhetoric in the current highly charged presidential election cycle. Our Springfield community is making notable progress that contributes to its growing appeal among new residents, including immigrants. This development is underpinned by our city's diverse and robust industrial base that encompasses the technology, automotive, food production, and distribution sectors.
That's right.
The growth in our workforce population has supported the expansion of local businesses, contributing to the stabilization of our local economy.
Sounds good.
Our commitment to promoting a business-friendly environment.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats, the pets. They're eating the gerbils. I don't know if they're eating them. Maybe they're putting them in a different hole. We don't know. But in Springfield, they're eating the dogs and the ducks and the chickens. You're supposed to eat chicken, but not in this way, not live, like it's voodoo.
Has attracted new enterprises to our region, and we will continue to focus on collaborating with industry leaders who seek to establish operations here.
Fabulous.
Springfield is at the forefront of advancements in aerospace technology.
Are they eating dogs, though?
Particularly in support of national defense.
Against dogs by the first line of defense is nibbling.
These technologies are set to enhance daily life in the coming decades. We continue to enjoy success.
The robots of Springfield They're eating the dogs. Sorry.
And working with developers to increase our residential housing stock, a trend not seen in decades. We're
not talking about dog houses, are we? All right, I'll stop.
The next few years, we anticipate the addition of over 2,000 new housing units. Springfield's strategic location between the Columbus and Dayton markets continues to make us a prime candidate for future development.
That's right. As long as you're not a pet owner. I'm kidding.
While we are experiencing challenges related to the rapid growth of our immigrant population, these challenges are primarily due to the pace of the growth rather than the rumors being reported. These rumors will not distract us from addressing the real strain on our resources, including the impact to our schools, healthcare system, and first responders.
That's right.
We will continue.
Having a lot of immigrants, there's a real story of how you would deal with this. A lot of it has to do with a functioning government actually supplying resources in these situations. But we're not getting any of that shit because Republicans in this state think everybody's a dog eater, and they want to downplay the actual functional immigration that we have here. Fuck.
Continue to work collaboratively with our community partners to face these
at the ASPCA. I'm sorry.
Challenges head on and move Springfield forward together.
Okay.
For Republican vice presidential nominee.
Oh, shut up. So that's the statement from the city manager of Springfield. That's the guy that got like, he didn't get name checked, but he got checked in the debate last night. That might be something good that a city manager would say. That's who they were talking about, was that guy. And he had to release that statement today to push back on this shit. And it's so, poor guy. Anyways, okay, let's get on with the post show. Okay, first of all, we all know what the answer is. We do. But let's see how this asshole and his buddy, who I think was a former member of our gang and looks like a thumb in a suit. Let's see what he thinks of what people think of him.
I had a good time. I think it was our best debate ever. I thought it was.
Well, I agree in terms of getting rid of you.
It was really good. We had 3 against 1, but I anticipated.
Let's talk about that. 3 against 1, and all of her radical positions they leave on the table.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of.
Also, real quick, you do realize that the radical nature of the policy isn't the part of it. Has nothing to do with the moderators. It's whether you're telling the truth or not. And whether that truth is a debatable truth, right, as opposed to a cut and dry number.
Negative kind of stuff. Look,
a negative kind of stuff. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
So on your show last night, they had 100% positive coverage on ABC, and I had 94% negative coverage.
93% negative.
I exaggerate.
You got an extra.
So it's honest.
100% non-negative. As you were with her tonight, to think that we come out of this debate and we have no answer to her co-sponsoring the Green New Deal, $93 trillion, yeah. I say the end of capitalism. To come out of this, government.
Also, the Green New Deal is not an actual act. It is not an actual. It's sort of a policy position about moving us towards renewables and the like. None of it is sort of an enforceable. It's like a commitment to the environment. But the idea that she went from being people who generically supports the idea that we need to start building towards a renewable economy and a renewable, infrastructure in our country that, and a smart grid and all those kind of things that were kind of part and parcel of that discussion, to being like effectively the co-author of it or the driving force behind it, or that the real policy. It's interesting that they bring up the real, they'll tire to the Green New Deal, but they won't bring up the Infrastructure Act and the American Rescue Act plan, now that it's no longer an act. They can't bring those up, which is where the vast majority of these environmental advances have been made in this administration. But they can't bring them up because too many Republicans voted for them, and they're technically, it's a positive. It's a net positive.
Government run health care and no answer to eliminating private health insurance.
Yeah, she said she's not going to eliminate people's private health insurance. That was never the intention.
Well, we brought them all up. You know, every one of the things that we brought it all up. And I
brought it all up. Dogs, cats, living together, mass hysteria.
Ended with, why hasn't she done it before? Why didn't she fix, she's there complaining. Why didn't she fix all these things that she's
really willing to leave the stage and go home?
I don't know. Why did Mike Pence keep you in office?
She was going to go fix it in Washington?
No, you know what? I would have left. I would have said, go home and fix it. I'll leave with you, okay? But she doesn't. She's not going to fix it. So she's complaining about all the stuff that's wrong with the country, and they've been there.
No, she's not. First of all, our government requires constant gardening and actual focus on solutions. That aside, she's not complaining. She's saying, we have these issues. Let's work on the actual solutions for those issues. He was complaining. I'm being treated very unfairly. They're eating dogs. Like, that's complaining.
For 3.5 years. And I wanted to save that for my last little summation. And I actually mentioned in there too. I just thought it was a great debate. I think we showed the weakness, but the sad part is that
that is true. He definitely showed the weakness.
Destroying our country. You know, when you get right down to it. Debate, good debate. I enjoyed it, but it's a very sad thing because our country is in decline. We are really being laughed at all over the world.
Oh, by the way, her saying that world leaders laugh at him, it left a mark. Literally, that statement right there is the equivalent of a boxer coming out during the during the interviews post fight, holding a rag to his forehead.
And that's tough to take.
Do you think it's strange that somebody could support something as radical as sex change operations paid for by taxpayers for convicts and illegal immigrants, and for illegal immigrants, free housing, health care, education, and not get asked a question about it?
But I brought it up.
You did bring it up.
Of course, they weren't so happy when I brought it up. But
also, by the way, what they use is the concept of fairness as an argument for targeting, which is, again, that's like saying Trump is for all white-collar criminals to be released from prison because he doesn't believe he should be in there, right? He doesn't believe any white-collar criminal should go to jail, ever, for anything. He just wants to release white-collar criminals who, by the way, even if there's maybe some tie to the fact that their ex-wife fell down a flight of stairs and they buried him on their property to hide them, like, even that situation, they should be let go. See how that works? See how easy it is?
But I brought it up. I brought up the fact that they're doing sex change operations on illegal immigrants. Okay. I brought up the fact that they're doing sex change operations on illegal immigrants. Is it against their will? Is that the problem? Or is that a plus? And those are expensive operations, and they...
I see. Well, I mean, if they did it, what if they did it on the cheap? Would you be okay with that? If they really, they cut a couple of corners, no pun intended?
Shouldn't be done for a lot of reasons.
There are a lot of things.
All right, yeah, it should be done for a lot of reasons. What one? What, that people shouldn't have, transgender people shouldn't have surgery to, on their genitals at all? They shouldn't. So, okay, no sexual mutilation, is that what you call it? So we're against circumcision. So you're coming out against circumcision now. Cool.
You said that weren't true about you tonight, that you would support a national abortion ban. Yeah. You've never said that.
I never said
that. And by the way, this isn't about Trump cleaning up what he said afterwards. And look, there's Vivek dangling behind him. I think he's the next interview. On this show, we're not going to cover him because I don't care. But it's interesting that usually this would be a situation where Trump would come out and clean up what he said on his own. Go, I wanted to say this. I could have said this. This is Sean Hannity mopping up after Trump. Trump is the elephant in the parade, and Sean Hannity is behind him with a giant broom and a scoop.
You support Project 25.
Correct.
You never read it? I don't even know what it is either.
I don't want to read it.
Okay.
Bullshit. Also, it's not Project 25. Oh, you notice they do this a bunch. It's Project 2025. It's the exact same contextually as Agenda 47. The reason he's against saying that Project 2025 is the impetus for this shit is because he wants credit for all the stuff that's in it. Of course he didn't fucking read it. Of course he's never gonna fucking read it. It's a manual for people who will work for him. He's not gonna read it. He's just gonna pass it out. Secondly, Agenda 47 is the crayon and hammers version of Project 2025. The other thing, too, is that you'll notice he calls it Project 25. I don't even know what Project 20 I don't even know what Project 25 is. Right. Nobody asked you about Project 25. They asked you about Project 2025. So it's this cheap, lazy lie where if you ever get called out on it and you go, oh, I thought you were talking about Project 25. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Number two, that she said in 2000, I took back my position on banning fracking.
Yep.
No, CNN fact-checked that and said no. The mandatory gun buyback.
And she didn't say it in 2000, stupid. She did in 2020. 2020. That would be the 2 and the 0 that are next to each other. She didn't say it in 2000. So Sean Hannity, I don't know, lying or being flippant.
Back at the end of the debate, she lied about that too.
That's right.
By the way, why is the camera on Trump and not on Sean Hannity? It's since he's doing the rebuttal.
That's
And
right.
you
She
did
wants
call
to
her out for a lot of
confiscate. I called her out on everything that you said. I think I got everything out. Now, with all of that being said, I was amazed because I really thought they'd be fair. I have to say, CNN a few weeks ago was sort of fair against Biden. But this one was stacked. I figured it would be after watching 100% positive coverage of her. And she's done a terrible job as vice president. And
also, what do you mean watching 100% coverage of her? He saw that allegation by that media group that, you know, the right-wing media group. It's like, they're in the tank. These are the same groups that say no matter what Democrat is running, they're always the most liberal ever. Right.
look, she's the worst vice president we've ever had. She was the border czar, the worst border ever in the history of the world, not just in our country.
So you're saying our border got worse after you built the wall. So the wall made it worse. Okay, at least we can agree on that.
And he's the worst president we've ever had.
So she's
Sean, they're destroying our country.
Yeah, make sure you get that in there. Yeah. Don't discuss details. Just say, Sean, they're destroying our country, because that'll convince him, the other people there, the large number of people who seem to be ignoring the fact that, I mean, it's weird that he's giving an interview right there, right? And everybody's kind of looking away. I mean, there's Garrett Haake. They're interviewing somebody else.
I'm very aware. And if we look at her
Yeah, I'm very aware they're destroying the country. Cool.
tax plan, which is, okay, price gauging or gouging, and the largest tax increase not only in American history but world history. Her campaign is saying tonight, Washington Post is reporting, that she wants a second debate. What's your
That's
answer?
because she lost. She wants it because she lost.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah. Well, if she lost, then I guess there shouldn't be a problem with another one, right? It's not a rematch. Maybe she feels like she can go further with this stuff. Again, interestingly, in terms of the debate, I know he's going for the, because we usually have multiple debates, right? We usually have more than one. So the idea used to be that if you only want to do one debate, obviously you lost or you don't think you debate very well. So after this one, asking for more seems to be an affirmation that she thought she did well and that she feels like she will do even better next time and that he's a triggerable idiot, which is clearly the case. Trump wants to make it like a boxer in a rematch because he doesn't want to do it because he got his ass kicked.
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. But if you won the debate, I sort of think maybe I shouldn't do it. Why should I do another debate?
Because you won. Man, why? I mean, it's a close race. Put it away, man. If you won, right? No harm, no foul. And it was easy. You didn't even have to prep for it. She worked her ass off, and you didn't have to do anything. It was super easy. You got in the whole thing about people eating dogs, and you got to reiterate that you thought you won 2020. And I mean, it was perfect.
She immediately said, we want another debate. That's, you know what happens when you're a prize fighter and you lose? You immediately want a new fight.
You want a rematch?
You want a rematch. The guy that won is sort of happy and thinking about it.
Would you be
Is that what you are? Sort of happy and thinking about it?
inclined to say yes, or you
Maybe
don't
if
know?
it was on a fair network, I would do that. But
I think
But as long as I could pick the ref which is what the winner always says. I nailed it. I won, even with the refs against me. Would you do it again? My cousin Benny could do the ref. He could, if he could be the ref, that'd be good. I don't know if otherwise, I'll have to think about it. I gotta be honest, my butthole stings really bad right now. It was, it was a good, don't get me wrong, I totally won. But I am going to be sitting weird for a while.
I think let Hannity moderate it.
Yeah, no, I think
like
that would
I did
be fair.
Newsom and Ron DeSantis.
I think it would be fair. You would be fair, actually.
I would be
you
fair.
want to know the truth.
I'd let you both talk. I'd let you go at each other.
I thought they would be fair. They weren't, but I felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
We have the best policy. She has no policy.
You know, one thing that interested me.
But right, because she has your policy and you have no policy, so she must have no policy. Is that where we're going?
I've known you for a long time, and one of the things that I was watching.
Yeah, you guys had the same fixer. You were both clients of Michael Cohen during the time when he would clean up shit for rich assholes. This is client number 1. This is client number 3. Client number 1, client number 3. Client number 1, client number 3. All right.
In you tonight is that you were all business. You know, a lot of times when you're
yeah, thanks, Sean. Yeah, totally. It was great. All business. Because every business I walk into, I'm like, I think I'll have a combo. They're eating the dogs. You know what? I'm going next door. Thanks very much. How long you been working here? 2 years? Okay. And how long has this place been here? About 2 years. Okay. And what about you? They're eating the dogs! You know what? I'm gonna fucking bounce.
You're at your rallies, or we do a town hall.
Sean, they're destroying our country.
Did he mention they're destroying our country? You should get that one in. Because I think that's a winner. I mean, I think that's what lands it. Just say, like no one's ever seen before, and they're destroying our country again. It doesn't sound at all like an old man tick. It doesn't sound at all like, why does Grandpa keep saying that?
Is that what it was? Is it the seriousness of the moment?
There's nothing to smile about. I can...
That's right. You know what? It's nice. J.D. Vance is rubbing off on him. There is nothing to smile about. Now, I know why he feels like that, because we've all seen his wife and we've all seen his kids. But still.
I'm a good smiler.
Not weird at all. Not strange. Why? Of course that's what you say. I'm a good smiler. It's what I do. I'm smiling all day as I make my poo. I smile on the little Johnny. I smile at the urinal. I smile into the glory hole. Hey, that's Matt Gates. All right. I'm a good, there's nothing to smile about. I'm a good smiler. Fuck me.
Seriousness of the moment.
There's nothing to smile about. I'm a good smiler, but there's nothing to smile about. They're destroying. We have 21 million people that have been released in.
There is nothing to smile about. Sean, stop smiling at me. Sean, there's nothing to smile at. This is not a smiling matter. I'm a good smiler.
Into our country.
Yes, you are. You're a good little smiler.
And many of them are criminals and terrorists and people
Lincoln
from
Riley,
mental institutions.
Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungary.
All dead.
Saying it sound. Hey, whoa, Sean, stop it. Stop. He's in muscle memory mode. You don't get to interrupt him when he's on the prisons and jails and mental institutions and insane asylums rant. You don't get to interrupt. You create. It's like flicking the turntable. Just like,
terrorists and people
Lincoln
from
Riley,
mental institutions.
Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungary.
All dead.
I list all these names
I know.
on the show of people murdered, people raped, people victims of violent crime.
Really, you don't list anybody that's been physically attacked or sexually attacked by literal campaign staff of Donald Trump? That didn't occur to you? Because the numbers equal. I guarantee you can go 1-to-1. Here's a good idea, Sean. I suggest this. find all the illegal immigrant crime you can come up with, and then over the same timescape, look up youth pastor and the same fucking crime. I'm pretty sure you'll reach parity very early.
Crime, names a lot of people never heard of. You've called Laken Riley's family.
I did. I was with them. Who
else you've met other families? You met the families of...
I met them all.
Yeah, you met them all. Name some of the other people, says Sean Hannity to a man he knows can barely remember Sean Hannity's name.
Afghanistan.
Nungary. I met.
You met Nungary's family.
Yeah, I met 5 or 6 of them.
I met 5 or 6 of them. Which was it? The 5th one or the 6th one?
Even talking about the 13 soldiers that were killed in Afghanistan, the families of the 13 soldiers.
Which Espinoza? Guy, which names? What are the first names that come to your mind?
Which Biden won't even talk to, and
he literally reached out to all of them.
He's the one that caused their death. Just as if he had a pistol in his hand, he and her caused their death.
So I guess it's the equivalent of you think, I'm just curious, if you had shot all 13 of them in the middle of 5th Avenue, would you lose any support? I doubt it.
Just as if literally they had a gun.
No, not as if literally. You released the Taliban fighters that were surrounding the airport, the very same ones that allowed the ISIS-K guy to get through and blow the fucking place up.
In their hand.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. When you're in a situation...
Wait a minute, Sean. It's pretty amazing? Hold on. Back the fuck up. His answer to, it's as if Biden and Harris took a gun and shot these soldiers in the head, and Sean Hannity's response is, it's pretty amazing.
In his hand. He and her caused their death. Just as if literally they had a gun in their hand.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
As if they had a gun in their hand. It's pretty amazing. Yes, it's pretty amazing, Sean. It's pretty amazing you don't fucking fire off and punch him in the face right then for being such a pig.
When you're in a situation like that, what is going through your mind?
Excuse me. Your Honor, I object. It makes conclusions not based on evidence presented at trial. We have no evidence that thoughts actually go through his head. We have some indication that someone else's thought in audible form bounces around in a cavernous way between his ears and then sort of spills out of his face. But the idea that there's thought involved is a bridge too far, Your Honor. I object.
What goes on behind the scenes? How do you prepare for your debates?
Yeah, thank you, Sean. How do you prepare for the debate? Well, I watch a lot of dog videos.
Well, I think I always say I've been preparing all my life for these debates. You know, you can't go in like she did. She goes into a room and she memorized lines, more or less. I thought I got one cute one. I'm talking when I said, I'm talking, when she started interrupting me.
Yeah, you thought you thought you did? Yeah, she looked at you like you thought you were being cute.
Said that to Mike Pence.
I wanted to get even for that. You know, That was not very nice what she did. But
I wanted to get even for that. Sorry, you wanted to get even for how she spoke to Mike Pence during a debate. The guy you sent your supporters to fucking hang. Yeah, I think it's lovely. Quite frankly, Sean, can we get Mike Pence on the phone right now? Trump wants to sing him a tune. Think of it as like the wave jazz after dark. He wants to dedicate a love song to him. You're gonna avenge Mike Pence because of her remark, because he spoke over her when you were like, I think these people are a lot more angry about this than you are, McCarthy. You mean the people who are coming here yelling, "Hang Mike Pence"? Yeah, those people.
But no, I thought it was. We're getting great reviews.
It's interesting.
We're getting great reviews. Yeah, you're an off Broadway play now. Congratulations.
The one line that really stuck out that did make me laugh out loud is when you.
Yeah, so excited. There was this one thing you said where I wasn't literally listening to my stomach gurgle.
Said you're going to send her a MAGA hat. There are a lot of positions now. All of a sudden, she's come over to your side. She's been against the border wall. She's been against.
There's only one problem.
Yeah.
If she ever won, immediately from the day after that election, everything would go back to confiscate your guns and forget about oil and everything else. You know.
Right. What he's saying is that she would say all this stuff and then get elected and not do it, which is yet another one of her positions he's accusing her of stealing.
They were cutting back on oil way back. They got rid of Anwar, the biggest oil site perhaps in the world, in Alaska. They did.
Yeah. First of all, they didn't get rid of it. It never started. They killed it before it started, which is good because we don't need it. And we're already producing more oil than any country in the world. And we still have 9,000 unused leases in the continental United States, in the lower 48, you dumb motherfucker.
Did things that are so bad and so destructive. But
yes, so bad and so destructive, including not drilling in the Alaskan National Wildlife Reserve.
Energy
So that's a full Anwar. I got
energy prices started doubling up, and she immediately went back to the Trump plan.
She did. She immediately went back to the Trump plan. What was the Trump plan? Drill, baby, drill. That I don't know how to break this to you, but that was the Sarah Palin plan, and it never fucking happened.
But I would have been now 4 times higher than they are right now because.
So, and how would you do this? You would just threaten it. How would you get the people at Exxon and Chevron to produce more oil and lower the profit point on the product that they create? Just maybe you just do it like Abdul. You show them like I went to the head of Exxon, and he was like, "Why, oh why do you show me a picture of my house where my children sleep and my wife cooks my favorite fish fingers? Why would you do such a thing?" And I say, "You'll figure it out."
Because that was 3.5 years ago.
Right.
When she cut everything out. She went to wind and went to all this other stuff that doesn't work from an economic standpoint and even a visual standpoint. I don't get.
Yeah. That's the big failure of wind, is the visual standpoint. Because all of us. All right, real quick, if I may, chat room, work with me on this one. It's obviously fucking nuts when he says that windmills cause cancer and they're bald eagle graveyards and, oh, okay, fine. But I have to say, most of the people I know, with rare exception, when we see a wind farm, it's kind of cool. It's, the vast majority of them, these giant white structures, they're kind of a marvel. It's like seeing a dam. You know what I mean? Nobody looks at a dam and goes, they fucked up the river. There used to be flowing water here, and now there's this big concrete thing fucking up the scenery, right? Nobody looks at, I don't know where, I mean, obviously it's because of golf courses and he thinks somehow it fucks these up. But am I alone in this? Because I feel like when I drive by them, I'm like happy to see them. There's one on your way up to San Francisco. If you take the 5, you pass by one of them, and it's really cool looking. It's huge, and they really are a modern marvel to look at. There's another one. I think I was in Kansas. Where the fuck were we? We're on maybe it was Wisconsin. I think we're for one of the sexy liberal days, and I'm coming through like this this highway area past this hillside, and you come around a corner, and then it's kind of like, oh shit, there's this big wind farm. Might have been Indiana. I was going through Indiana. Yeah, that's what it was. Indiana. There's huge wind farms down there, and you don't see them until at one point until you clear the around this bend, and then there they are, and it really is impressive. It really, there's Texas has a bunch of them. Yes, that's the irony. Texas is full of those fucking things. They just have a shit grid that's not connected to anything else, so they don't know what, they don't want to maintain them because it's not butch or some shit, right? But that's the thing. And again, the people that live around them are fine with them. What he's talking about is that he doesn't like them because they somehow make them like certain golf courses. He has a problem with them because they ruin the view of the because he bought his properties on the cheap, and he doesn't. And the weird thing is like they're in California. You can see oil rigs out on the water. That doesn't bother them. But the windmills do. It's super fucking weird.
Get the wind. You take these gorgeous plains and deserts and all this stuff.
These gorgeous plains. Yes, everybody's like, the gorgeous desert. Now there's all these shitty windmills around.
They put these windmills up. They go up like a 30-story building in some cases.
That's a little tall.
Destroy everything. They cut out all, and the environmentalists say, aren't they wonderful? But it's the most expensive form of energy, and it's never going to do for our country.
So if we look at the issues on the economy.
Well, no, Sean, why don't you want to stay on windmills are ugly? I mean, it's 2024, Sean. This is the single most important issue of our time. Otherwise, he wouldn't be bringing it up. Sean, listen to him. Yes, and.
On immigration, on law and order, on energy, and America's role in the world.
Yeah.
Is there anything you could point to that you would say they have been successful on?
No. They have been unsuccessful at everything.
Okay. Well, that settles it. Yeah. So you would consider a stock market above 40,000 to be a net negative. And you would consider unemployment being at 4% or lower for the longest stretch in history a negative. Okay, so that sucks. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Infrastructure bill, getting one passed. Fuck that. Okay. Chips and Science Act, definitely against it. Okay, so what precisely are you for then?
And even the economy, I said, as part of the economy, you've let 21 million people, more than that, I think, with all the gotaways. That's killing our economy.
Terrorists, and we do have the murders and the rapes and the violent crimes.
Oh, and you
you do, Sean. You're right. Republicans, especially the Trump campaign, you do have the murders and the rapes and the violent crimes. Congratulations, you've cornered the market on something that probably people knew as a Chicago Democrat mob thing years ago, and you did it. You took that piece off our board and you put it on your side. Congratulations, Sean. You've got I hope you have a crocheted pillow in your house that says, we've got the murders and rapes and violent crime.
You haven't seen anything yet. What do you?
No, yeah, obviously. The immigrants are just getting settled in, and then they're going to start a criming.
You see it in the months to come.
You know what's
in the months to come. What are you planning it? I'd say it sounds like a threat. But I don't know anybody who would be afraid of this doughy fuck. There was a time when Trump threatening someone, even as president, he was a little old and he was a little long in the tooth, and he was largely saying it because he could hide behind some big, thick motherfuckers. But there was probably a time when he was younger where he was just kind of a brutal, borderline sociopath. Where you're like, this motherfucker might take a pop, right? Might take a swing at me with something sharp. That's a bit of a worry. Not anymore. Like this is like Pat Robertson threatening you. It's like Tammy Faye Baker threatening you.
Scares me, and I've said this on the air.
What scares? Sean says, what scares me? I've said this on the air. 2-syllable words. No. Women in power, clearly. Age and irrelevance. Ouch. Too close, too soon, too close to home. Ouch.
Is by having open borders, unvetted illegal immigrants, that I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when that this country is going to be attacked.
If you look at Springfield.
By who? Oh my God. He's going for it.
Ohio. Look at what.
Yeah, here. If you look at Springfield, Ohio. Hey, you think 9/11 was bad? This is like a 9/11 for dachshunds. This is, you think, yeah, they're going to learn how to, they're going to learn how to drive those vans where they groom pets, and then your pet's going to go in there and they're not going to learn how to do it. They're just going to pick up your pets and never learn how to land.
What's happening there? You look.
What's happening there? What's happening there, dummy? Tell them.
At Aurora in Colorado.
Yeah, look at Aurora in Colorado. I know what you're talking about. You mean the mass shooter that shot up the theater that arguably is the reason why movie theaters are doing poorly even beyond COVID, is because the fear of people sitting in the dark with a stranger, and there's no magnetometers or anything going into a theater, which has driven down, a huge American industry and driven it effectively home, had more effect on movie theaters and moving people to streaming than even an infectious disease did in Aurora. Is that what we're talking about? The guy who dressed up as the fucking Joker and killed a bunch of people? That guy? Oh, no, you mean some Venezuelans who work their fucking asses off just to stay here for a while as temp workers while their country is falling apart at home, that you gave a year and a half head start or like delay on their removal proceedings, guaranteeing it'd be 4, 5, maybe 6 years before they ever saw the inside of a courtroom if they deserved to be deported. That was him. Sorry, you were saying something about how these hardworking people are wrecking the fucking place.
Beautiful little towns and little cities, small cities.
Yeah, beautiful little towns and small cities and cities. Sure.
They're being taken over by illegal migrants. I mean, they're people that poured in, and they have weapons like our military doesn't have.
Where did they get those? They've got weapons like our military doesn't have? You mean because our military doesn't have Kalashnikovs? We don't have AK-47s? Because we don't use those? Because Mexican gangs have them and then they sell them or trade them? Or people buy them on the black market inside the country?
You know, they have AK-47s. They have weapons like our military doesn't have.
Yes, you're right. Our military does not use Russian weapons.
And, you know, some sheriff in one of these towns where he's got 2 deputies and they're not into this.
Yeah, well, yes. He's got, we got a couple of rules up here in Aurora. I got 1 bullet in my pocket. Now, you fellas put down that. Right.
There's no way they can protect the people from this.
Yeah, they can. It's fucking Colorado. There's a town in Colorado called Rifle. Lauren Boebert is from there. She had a fucking restaurant called Shooter's Bar and Grill. Everybody's packing, you dumbass. It's Colorado.
But look at what's going on in Springfield today. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yeah. Before or since or during. Nobody knows what you're talking about, fuckwad.
We really appreciate it. I know your people are calling for you.
Yeah, people are trying to get you out of here because you just about said they're eating dogs again. And can you please, can you beat it?
Roll. What made you come to the spin room?
I just felt I wanted to. I was very happy with the result. It's a very unfair situation. They've weaponized our government politically, so I mean, that's unfair. And I just felt we had a great night, and I'd come over here. I actually gave a little bit of a news conference. We were swarmed.
Oh, by the way, I could hear it. You were interrupting my show, by the way, just for the record.
I had to come over and do yours. I would hate like heck to leave here, and I didn't do
No, I would be mad. I would take that as a personal offense. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah. If you didn't come here, I know you got to go. But if you hadn't joined me, boy, I would have really, I didn't have anything planned, really, that we were going to do. I wasn't going to. But nice seeing you. Hey, thanks for, and that's the best part is that you're here and you're definitely here. And I'm going to, and I know your people are over there waving at me. So they're, yeah. And, they're saying you got to go. So, yeah, I'd love to. Oh, I wish you could stay too. Anyways, I'm sorry, what were you saying? Oh, the same shit you were saying 5 minutes ago in the same order? Right? Because something you read in a Hitler book? That says repeat shit all the time? Ah, I see. Think of it. Yes, I will think of it. I will think of it. Yes, while I'm on the toilet. Goodbye.
Big trouble.
All right, so no answer on their offer for a second debate.
Again, the reason you do a second debate is if you lose, and they lost. And we looked at one poll, it was 92-7.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Like, where was it? RSBN? What, on Twitter? The fuck out of here. 92-7.
We looked at another one, 86-3.
Did you? Oh, where was this? On Truth Social?
Well,
I mean, we have all of these results coming in.
No, you don't, you weirdo.
But I'll think about it, It's very quick.
Mr. President, thank you for taking time. We really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Jesus. So the reason folks, in case you were wondering, the reason that he came by, because he just felt like it's such a good night, which is, again, in those situations, what do? You have a great night. You don't really have to do anything else. You let the debate performance speak for itself. Or you walk out and you try to clean up the mess you clearly made because you need the affirmation of a crowd.
Last night when he made a surprise appearance in the so-called spin room, a few blocks from the debate site. He called the ABC News moderators, quote, very unfair and said, "I have no idea," when he was asked about Taylor Swift's post-debate endorsement of the vice president.
Yeah, you could kind of take those answers and attach them to almost everything.
All I do is say the truth. I say the truth. If I lose votes or gain votes, I don't care. But this was my best debate. I thought it was very good. I thought she was very weak.
By the way, if this is your best debate, that just simply means that everybody you faced before wasn't even remotely adequate. And that's not downplaying what Harris did. But again, a bit of a sliding scale, I think.
Weak on foreign policy. She was very weak on the border. And I'm very happy with it.
I said weak. Did I mention weak? I was supposed to say weak more because she's a woman, and I was supposed to fuck me. Take me over the spin room. I'll say it. Weak, right? Weak on this, weak on that, weak. If I say she's weak, because women are weak, and people will say women are weak, so I got to say weak. Fuck. Like, that's exactly how that happened. Just so you know, that was the entirety of the thought from debate to him coming to this fucking thing. Guaranteed. He was supposed to call her weak, and he fucked up and forgot because he was so thrown off his game by her calling his rally small and boring, just like his dick, and he took it so personally, he forgot to say weak. And so he had to go over there and just drop weak, and immigrants are eating your pets and weak. That's what it is.
Several times, the vice president appeared to succeed last night in her stated goal.
Appeared to succeed?
Getting under the skin of the former president, who grew angrier as the evening unfolded.
Well, grosser. I don't know about angrier. Also, I don't know if I've ever heard the phrase get under someone's skin and it's actually skeeved me out. You know what I mean? Most of us just write that, yeah, he got under his skin. Kind of like a paper cut or you irritated him. You got under their skin like a splinter. You know what I mean? That's where it comes from. But when he says, when you say it about Trump, it sounds nasty.
Allowing himself to be baited into digressions concerning events of long ago. By the same token, Mr. Trump spoke in language more readily understood by so-called ordinary Americans, as when he cited the cost of cereal, bacon, and eggs. And he scored the night's best one-liner when he urged Ms. Harris to wake up President Biden and get him out of bed at 4 p.m.
Also, no, he didn't, because they said, we'll go down there right now, and it was 9 o'clock at night. What time does Trump think it is? Trump thinks he was just outside. It was fucking dark. It's not 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Unless Trump was just accidentally gave away the game that he insisted they pre-tape this and air it later, and he's operating on that pretense. She had the best line. 81 million people fired you. He was fired by 81 million people. That was the best line of the night.
I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it?
Again, they did. That's the point. You were making a complaint that, again, everybody knows we're at 4% unemployment. Everybody knows that manufacturing is up. Like, this isn't even a fucking mystery. And she's vice president. She gets to do shit when she's president that she didn't get to do as vice president. This is the same, by the way, this is the same attack line he used on Biden. He was with Obama. Why didn't they do this then? Whatever. He used several of those hits on Biden. And the answer was simple. Because the president has more power than the vice president. Don't believe me? Ask Mike Pence.
She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in.
Yes, the Tooth Fairy, being Jesus's brother. Nobody's ever heard shit like that.
While aides to both nominees last night expressed interest in holding a second debate.
Oh my God, Philadelphia is a fucking hellscape. Look at that. I can't hear you over the rioting and fires. It's the, you know what I mean? You know what I think it is, folks? I think it's the fireworks that they're using as IEDs. Can you guys understand what he's saying? I can't, because he's screaming from Philadelphia, hashtag rip Philadelphia, in the middle of this. It's just, is it daytime? It's so dark, I can't tell.
An agreement.
No one's even going to work. People are just wandering around, abandoning cars. Those trucks are empty. Well, they're probably full of fentanyl.
On the venue in terms of such an event appears far from certain at this moment. Katie and Sean.
Bow, down, down, no. That's okay. So that's Newsmax. Now, there were some people who weren't ready. Well, okay. Let's jump in. Can we take a little trip? Come with me. There were some people who, no matter what happens, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in existence. None of this slapdash bullshit where people just throw their chat on the screen and let it scroll over garbage and stuff like that. I make sets, so this is interesting to look at. God damn it. So, anyways, there are some people who, when Trump was fucking up and Harris was eating his lunch or saying that Putin would eat him for breakfast, we're really working hard to like, and probably capable of hiding their emotions and pretending that Trump did well and everything's fine. Sean Hannity's pretty good actor at this point. At least he's a pretty good bullshit artist. Yeah, I'm just saying. But for the record, you know who isn't? Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet. Having a rough one, kids. He had a conspiracy theory that the set was blue and said "we the people" because it was supposed to benefit Democrats. Like, I guess because any quote that comes from the Constitution benefits, or the preamble to the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence, any of those phrases. If you start using any of the amendments, you put them up there, it's all going to benefit Democrats, except for maybe the Second Amendment, but then you can't do the whole thing because they feel attacked. So anyways, this is Greg Kelly. Kamala Harris is a lying hustler. Okay, here we go. He seems like he enjoyed this. We'll see.
I am absolutely disgusted by what we just witnessed.
Well, that's all I need, really. I don't know. That's sure. Can I hear that again, real quick? Sorry, say that again. What was it?
So, I am absolutely disgusted by what we just witnessed.
Well, next time I'll close my drapes.
First of all, shame on those two moderators. Mercedes, it's great to be with you, but what we
It's great to be with you, Mercedes, but fuck.
saw, I believe, was a $5 billion or so culmination in creating this illusion that
$5 billion. But hang out. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about how to phrase whatever the fuck you're about to phrase. You're thinking about it. I could tell. Greg, you're thinking about it. But it's not going to work, is it? The words are kind of bouncing around in there, and they're supposed to come out your face in some sort of an order, and you really had high hopes. You really did. You thought, here it comes. I'm going to stick the landing. People will know exactly what I'm talking about, and it will cut to the quick, and it will undo all of the damage. And I won't let my emotions get the better of me and throw a monkey wrench in my pronunciation of the bass line. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Let's find out.
was a $5 billion or so culmination in creating this illusion that Kamala Harris is somehow a competent, thoughtful, decent person.
That she is a Jesus Christ. Do you need it? Do you need a smash rag, you weirdo?
It is astonishing what just
Yes, I agree.
happened. She
Why would it be? Why would it be astonishing? Are you? Hold on, Greg. Wait, my man. Are you suggesting that a couple of ABC moderators and some chick can get the better of Donald Trump, the man with the best words, the man who had the best economy ever, who built that wall and made Mexico pay for it? Are you telling me, Greg Kelly, you faithless fuck, are you telling me that Donald Trump that it's even conceivable that a couple of ABC anchors and Kamala Harris, this DEI hire, could kick Trump's ass? It's not possible. He smoked it. How dare you? How fucking dare you? Why are you even upset? Okay? Didn't you see? Trump was just saying 98, he won it 98% to 11. He won 107% to 7%.
She lied incessantly. The faces, the nonsense. The
woman, the speaking, the authority, the chick, the saying of the woman being able to talk to man like, goddamn, this is fun. I gotta say, this goes into that file that I have of, did you think you'd be saying shit like this 15 months ago, 2 years ago even? Shit, in his case, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, yesterday? Yesterday afternoon, Greg Kelly, did you think you'd be making this fucking face next to this fucking face on your network following up? You're like, this is the night. And tonight's gonna be a good night. Right? Didn't you? Come on. Yesterday afternoon, you're like, he's gonna grab this bitch by the pussy, right? That's what you were telling everybody, Greg. That's what you were walking around. You strutting around the fucking office, man. That's right. That's right. And then, fast forward to fucking, the next day, sorry, you have to, I know Trump says there's nothing to smile about, and I want to thank Greg Kelly personally for proving him wrong. Hell, that's my favorite Pearl Jam song ever. Yeah. That's what he's like. Yeah, that's the new ballad by Greg Kelly. Okay, so all right, sorry, back the fuck up, stupid. Now, what were you saying? It was so terrible because $5 billion of
believe was a $5 billion or so culmination increase.
$5 billion culmination. Excellent. I can tell you, speak for a living.
Creating this illusion that Kamala Harris is somehow a competent, thoughtful, decent person.
Who I want to lick.
It is astonishing what just happened.
I can't understand why she's turned me into a chicken eating seeds off the ground.
She lied incessantly. The faces, the nonsense. She had, for what Democrats will consider this a successful night, I believe.
It's like he throws up a little bit, and that's what makes his tongue come out. Like, I don't want to taste the vomit that's coming up in the back of my neck. Check this shit. This is so good. Watch. Democrats will think this is a good night.
For what Democrats will consider this a successful night, I believe. But the truth,
Democrats will consider this a successful night.
and I think God knows otherwise.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. And sometimes he parts the Red Sea, and sometimes he makes Trump look like a dumbass who's just gotten spanked by a woman of color, and then so he can throw these people he's luring them out. He's trying to make them, he's giving them a false sense of security. The Lord. Oh, God. The Lord.
But the truth, and I think God knows otherwise. Yes, you can.
Even Mercedes he was like, and I think God knows otherwise. And she's like, okay, I'm just gonna lock down right here. It's easy with all this Botox. I'm just gonna freeze my fucking face. Don't give them anything. Do not give them the fucking satisfaction. Don't look over at him because you won't know what's going on. Just pull a Trump. Never look across the aisle.
Take somebody who's never flown an airplane before and put them in a cockpit in a captain's suit.
Okay, it's a great idea. So you're describing you supporting Trump as president. Run this. I need to hear this whole shit. I need to hear it clean. Okay.
Knows otherwise. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can take somebody who's never flown an airplane before and put them in a cockpit in a captain's suit and put them in the cockpit and say, wow, that looks like a great pilot. That looks like somebody who can fly the plane. Meanwhile, the guy who has 10,000 hours of flight time is going to be slightly haggard, maybe not the most graceful looking person.
Okay. First of all, Greg Kelly's a pilot, for real. Thanks for your service, Greg. You shitheel. But I'm just saying. Also, if the captain looks haggard, maybe he shouldn't be flying. And yes, he's talking about Trump. He means, look, Trump has 10,000 hours, which, again, based on what? Golfing, maybe. Jesus Christ. Why? That's like saying you could put Trump on, these expensive golf courses, playing with the best clubs, surrounding himself with the best players, and he still slices into the fucking woods.
But can actually do the job of flying the plane. This was an illusion.
Dude, she and Biden passed an infrastructure bill. They actually did it. Democrats actually have a plan, not concepts of a plan, and not concepts of a plan that'll be here in 2 weeks and be big and beautiful. An actual fucking plan.
The moderators, shame on them.
This gives me there's almost a perverse level of joy. I feel a little dirty right now how much I'm enjoying this.
Absolute shame on them. I want to say something else. Every now and then there was the giddiness of Kamala.
Oh, this bitch. Oh, the giddiness. How dare she? Oh, she's looking at him while he's making an ass out of himself, and she's enjoying it like that last lady that saw my penis at the mall. I mean, huh?
Kamala Harris, and it was the giddiness and smugness, I believe, Michelle, of a bank robber in the middle of a bank robbery. Giddy.
That's going well, I guess.
That they're actually getting away with it. But the SWAT team is on the way. All
right, that's you, right? You're the SWAT team in this situation. Because I got to tell you, you look like the bagged out drunk pilot. You look like the guy who's like, I'm pilot. I'm pilot.
Just, that's how I feel right now. Oh, the Charlottesville hoax. Again, this bloodbath crap. The arrogance. This lying hustler.
Patooey.
That is Kamala Harris. I was thoroughly disgusted, and I'm anxious now to hear your thoughts, Mercedes.
My life is falling apart. My hero just got suplexed by a female. I can't live. Is her name Mercedes Michelle or Mercedes?
Wow, I thought you were going to be joyful there for a second, Greg. But look, I think.
Why would you? By the way, that's gotta be an Office inside joke.
I think that there's a reality here. Okay, Kamala Harris was well scripted, well prepared. It was very predictable what she was going to say. It was the same type of lines that she has used time and time again.
I will give this woman credit that insofar as I know, Trump has not screamed "they're eating the dogs" at other events. That was some fresh bullshit.
When it came to Trump being a threat to democracy, Trump being a dictator. And I think watching...
Greg is not liking that she's trying to make the case that she was well-rehearsed and it's mechanical. It's a performance. By the way, Greg just made this very same case. He's like, it was a $5 billion level of creating this illusion. And she's describing how the illusion would be created. They rehearsed, they practiced. She's saying very scripted things. This is an organized campaign, all this stuff. And Greg's got this, now wait a second face.
Watching President Trump, he was so angry on how she continued.
Look at Greg. What? He's not angry. He wasn't angry. What are you talking about? He wasn't angry. Watch when she says this, and look at his face turn. He was so angry.
President Trump, he was so angry on how she continuously would lie.
He's like, no, he wasn't. He wasn't angry because she had control of him. She didn't make him angry. He was always angry. He's like the Hulk. But right. That's like he can't even take her supporting his argument because you can't let a woman help you.
And basically be deceitful to the American people.
Okay, basically.
Where, in fact, when you look at the fact that I think President Trump was expressing the anger of the American people.
Right, okay. She clearly saw that Greg did not like her saying he's angry, so she's like, anyways, hold on. Man, you know what? Maybe I'll let this, I let that hook sink a little too deep or whatever. This is more of a shallow fish kind of a river. I think it's stuck on something.
Because crime is up, because illegal aliens are in all these different communities that are being faced with crime, because Americans cannot afford their cost of living.
Yeah, they didn't go back to him and they didn't let her finish her thought. This is, by the way, Newsmax cuts these clips together. I do not. They were like, you know what? Let's leave it there. It's like there's a little wolf blitzer in the Newsmax edit bay. We're going to have to leave it there. So, who else is not enjoying this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I don't have to. Well, can we, all right, point of privilege. I've got a few to choose. Well, let's go over here. Okay, so in the response, election 2024 presidential debate, special coverage at the First, which is where I guess people who were kicked off Fox and went to Newsmax for sexually harassing someone, after they get fired from Newsmax for sexually harassing Greg Kelly, they get sent to the First to work with Bill O'Reilly, I guess, learn from the master.
First TV post-debate coverage. You made it through the whole debate. Congratulations. I wonder...
Thanks very much. I'm glad. Who are you?
How many people did, but join us for the next about hour and 10 minutes or so. We have 5 wonderful...
Also, hey, asshat, don't start off your coverage with, the reason we have a low turnout in our audience is because people didn't make it through the debate. They went elsewhere. They're watching the legacy media.
Guests for the next hour to do our...
Or they were watching my takedown of it, which was very well attended. 11,000 people in the chat room across 4 different sites. I'm just saying, new record for the show. Subscribe is what I'm saying.
Post-debate analysis. If I can just say one thing before we get to our guest.
No, I don't think so. Skipping forward. Eric Bowling, Mr. Marzipan.
Minute and a half, 2 minutes was, I think the first few minutes was his strongest moments. And
the part where nobody was pushing on him and he was who he was when he walked in the room without any pressure except for his own internalized angry bullshit.
And points during the hour and 15-minute debate. Hour and 45-minute debate. I think his closing argument was great. My concern was I was tweeting straight through that,
So you weren't paying attention? You're just tweeting the whole time? So you didn't really listen? So let me guess. While he was talking, you were listening. While she was talking, you were tweeting and writing stuff down and not listening to her response. Gotcha. Cool.
There was substantial.
And sorry the audio is low on this one here. I'll try to boost it on this other thangamadodger. I don't know why. Pardon me if the next audio.
Amounts of clarifications and fact-checking Donald Trump. And there was not one single fact check of Kamala Harris, and she dished a ton of lies, not just January 6th lies, Charlottesville lies. There was lie after lie after lie. No,
they weren't. He said there were very fine people on both sides, and the people he was talking about on the Charlottesville side were the people who were there, allegedly this fantastical idea that there were these old ladies from the Daughters of the Confederacy who were there to protect the statue of Robert E. Lee. It's just bullshit. There were not very fine people on both sides. He's full of shit. There was nobody in that crowd. It was just there because they were upset about a fucking statue.
Stopped her. It clarified it.
He's lying. Eric Bowling's lying. This is a lame lie. The more you watch that clip, the clearer it becomes that he is not. He's trying to tap dance. I'm not about white supremacists, but they have a point, right? That's not a defensible position.
But they certainly did Trump. So it was a tough battle. I think Trump killed it on the economy, and they started that way, and then those abortion and race, and it just became those topics that Americans really don't give that much of a hoot about. They care about.
Yeah, chicks, am I right? Yeah, and who cares about getting along with people of other races? I mean, that's such a Democrat thing. I don't even know if other people even think about it. No, nobody Eric Bowling knows works with anybody of a different skin color that ever has a different experience than theirs. They find some black conservatives or something that come around that live and operate in the same circle. You know what I mean? The Clarence Thomases of the world. So what's the difference? We all have the same experience. We all eat at the same steakhouse.
About the economy, they care about crime, they care about the border. It seemed like those were the topics that were kind of condensed. And this is clearly a Disney bias towards Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a Disney bias. They're trying to make a princess out of her.
Yeah, we will go over if we have some time later. We'll go over.
Yeah, I think you're going to run out of time. I wouldn't really focus on it, honestly. If you got time later, maybe, I don't know. Good energy though. Good energy, bro. You know what I mean? You could tell it went well. Anyways, where are we?
I counted 7 corrections that the moderators made. Do you remember back in whenever Mitt Romney was running and Candy Crowley made 1 and it was this big outrage? These guys made 7 of them tonight.
Right. And here's what you do. Give me one of those that they shouldn't have corrected.
I'll take the over.
David Muir
on 7. I mean, there were times where they were just leading her into almost a fact check on her. It was really, really biased. It was almost scripted like a Disney Broadway play. And David Muir does it with such eloquence and such ease. He hit it very well. But I think
he does. Yeah, just 'cause, that's the kind of thing. If you like that kind of thing, if you want to stay working for a big network, who wants that these days?
I think the media will give her the lamestream media will give her a major.
Lamestream media. Jesus Christ. Do these assholes and Trump have to pay Sarah Palin a finder's fee for those dumbass phrases?
Props for getting inside. Let's be honest. I'll be honest with you. Ready? He took her bait. He did. He took her bait. She had the nudges and
Well, he's good at everything, so he must be a real masturbator.
Instead of doing what he did with Biden in the first debate and ignored him and stayed on point on policy, he took her bait. But then some people like to see that. Some people love that angry Trump. He was pissed off tonight. I'll be honest with you. I just would have.
Yeah, some people like to see that towards women. Is what you mean?
Rather have seen the other one. Now he may have tapped into what most Americans are feeling.
No, most Americans aren't mad at women. And most Americans, ironically enough, who care enough about this stuff, can articulate, even conservatives, can articulate what they think his points are better than he can. They aren't his points. He's talking out of his ass. But in terms of tariffs and taxes and trade deficits and the like, they could probably pontificate on it a little bit and make some sense, even if they're one of these dumbasses that think that a tariff isn't a tax on the consumer, or argues that they're a fee that the exporting country has to pay, which apparently he thinks it is. Even if they believe that, they could probably articulate it better than he can, even if it's a stupid idea.
Anger, and why are we talking about race and abortion when the economy's on its ass
because the economy's not on its ass. If the economy was on its ass, the Fed would drop the interest rates through the floor, wouldn't they? Why would anyone on Wall Street, Eric Bolling, be arguing with the Fed about whether it should be a quarter basis point, a half basis point, or no drop at all if the economy's in the shitter? What would the argument be for keeping it high?
Borders wide open and our
border is not wide open.
Women are being raped and murdered in our streets by illegals.
Yeah, that's not happening either. I mean, it's not everything happens in this country. You got 340 million people in this country. But there's not like waves of immigrant rapists raping women in the streets. Like, think what an asshole you have to be to even phrase it that way.
She let in, but I just, there was a point where he said quiet to her, and I was just like, don't bite. He did a few times, but hey, he's Donald Trump, so.
Yeah, he's Donald Trump. I mean, look at the Truth sinkhole stock. He obviously knows what he's doing, Eric.
She brought up crowd size, and you're like, clearly her bringing up crowd size. You're like, oh, is Trump going to do it? And sure enough, he took an entire 2 minutes talking about crowd size instead of talking about the border bill, the phony border bill.
Gee, it's almost like it paints a picture of his lack of maturity and inability to handle stress and how easy he is to provoke, and probably you shouldn't have a person like that in charge of anything that you consider fucking meaningful. I don't know why that wouldn't. Does that mean anything at all? Yeah? Marley says, how I'm serious when I tell you your voice attracts all my hummingbirds. It's a compliment. Well, thank you. We have hummingbirds here, and maybe it's because they hear me singing in the house. I miss Chud. I miss Chud a lot. And Chud, when I would sing in the house, Chud thought I was dying. She didn't know why I was making a loud noise. And I think she was tone deaf because I sing very well. And I think she was like, are you okay? Like, she would come downstairs and go, ow. She's just like making sure, because I'm making a loud noise. She's like, you're not trapped under something heavy, are you? Yeah, Miss Chud. Thanks for saying that.
Bill that was in D.C., which is the whole basis of Kamala's like, I'm tough on the border and you're not. Other than laying up bait, how do you think Kamala did from her perspective?
Yeah, she was scripted. Everything she delivered was scripted, and
rehearsed, focused. You got 90 minutes to make your case in the shortest campaign in American history since Humphrey. I don't know what the next shortest campaign was. You goddamn right you better be rehearsed. You goddamn right you better be focused. The problem he has is he's been around all this time, so he takes it for granted. He will just, I could just blather, fuck it. They know what I do. That's my thing. People love me.
She did it well, though. I mean, she read her lines.
Yeah. Right.
Like I said, almost like a Broadway play, and she did it with a smile, and she started out very shaky. You could hear her voice. She was rattled. Her voice was shaky. she was.
No, she wasn't. I told you guys earlier, look at where the mic is pointed at Trump. It's right here. It's pointed right at his tie, and it's that far away. She is a different height. Her microphone, and you can barely see it because of her jacket, is right here. It's literally right down the barrel of her mouth. So when she when she swallowed or smacked her lips or anything, it was very loud comparatively. So vocally, it carried that idea. It's kind of like the like Howard Dean scream. Remember when he was like, yeah, like that, and it was isolated from the crowd. And if you had crowd noise mixed in with it, it would sound like, oh shit, he's following this crowd and they're rising up and he's following them, and then he sends them off. It was actually him, doing some he's like pushing them, in this direction. And same thing with Trump. Like now that he's behind the plastic barrier, you don't pick up the plexiglass. You don't pick up the audience noise from his crowd the same way. So he sounds a lot more pathetic in his rallies right now.
It was, squishing a couple of words together. You always tell when someone's nervous on TV when they have a line that should be delivered easily, a common line, and they mess up a couple of words. And she was there at the beginning, but she pulled herself together.
Yeah, what line would that be of Trump's? What would the dogs line? He did that when he nailed that.
Together, gained some confidence, likely because the topics were all geared towards her. Out of that first topic being the economy. I wish they would have stayed on inflation. I wish they would have talked about energy production.
Why would you want them to talk about energy production when oil production is at its highest ever? Why? Seriously. Do you think Trump even knows it? Or do you think he'll just deny it? He'll just go, that's not true. Even though the numbers come from fucking Exxon and Chevron and all these companies. Like, they all report directly to the government. They're not acting like they're producing more. Why the fuck would they? There would be like missing barrels all the time. It makes no sense.
They hit it and quit it on fracking. They didn't fact check her when she said, I've always said I will not ban fracking.
She didn't say she would always. She didn't say I've always said I will not ban fracking. She said it in 2020, which is true, and she said since then she's continued. As vice president, I banned it. I would not ban it as president. That's what she said.
Bull crap, horse crap. She clearly said she was going to ban fracking before she said she wasn't going to ban fracking, but
right. And when she said, I'm not going to ban fracking, that started in 2020. And it largely came because of her awareness and growth of the awareness, because we have some in California, but largely it's a northeastern area thing, and a bit of like Montana and Texas too. Wyoming has some fracking as well, but they have a lot of natural gas they can get out without hydraulic fracking, because it's just better ground for it, what have you. Anyways, point being is that as a mitigatory fuel source from darker fossil fuels like coal and oil to cleaner ones, it's a good transition. It is not perfect, but it is better than the alternative, and it is a great way to get there. And you have natural gas buses and all these other things that can help be that are powered by it, right? And that's where she came around on it, which is smart. New information, change your mind. Totally cool.
For some reason they didn't clarify her on that one either.
Because they didn't have to. You lied about what she said just now. Eric Bolling said she said I've never been for banning fracking or whatever he said. When in reality she said in 2020 I was not against fracking. As vice president I'm not against fracking. As president I won't be against fracking. That's what she said. Not I've never been against it. She said her values haven't changed. But again, your values can catch up to this, like, oh, okay, this is better than oil and coal, and we don't have enough renewables yet. We should probably go with the thing that pollutes less. That would be a maintenance of one's values, right? Moving in that direction. Yes? And also, there were improvements in the technology around fracking that decreased the number of earthquakes, which was a big story at the time when she was against it and a bunch of other people were against it. There were, Pennsylvania and Texas that were having earthquakes.
It was 3-on-1, and I guess
boo fuckity who.
he got mad, and that's what people like to see. I would like to see in another Biden debate.
All right. You'd like to see another Biden debate. Tough shit. All right. So anyways, that's Eric Bolling's take on this. Now I got to drop in on the people that are probably handling it the worst. Besides Trump and his own people. Besides Laura Loomer, I guess. The person handling it the worst is a friend of this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stu sticks it in you. I don't remember his last name. On The Blaze. They did live coverage of it. They watched it. And then this is their post-debate analysis. And we're just going to look at their kind of initial reaction to it. Once they get past probably the 10-minute mark in this, because it's 30 minutes, I'm not doing the whole thing. I imagine that they start getting into the copium and trying to do some patchwork. But we're going to see right off the bat what their immediate response was. And I'm just going to guess from the title, outrageous! Glenn Beck reacts to Harris-Trump ABC News presidential debate. I don't think it's a positive outrageous. I'm like, outrageous! Radical, Chuck! I don't think it's going to be a plus. Let's find out. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. This is the greatest live stream on the internet, bar none.
News, and I honestly could sit here and talk about that all night, but it's
sorry, that's loud. I turned up the other video. Beg your pardon. Here we go.
Probably not the most important part of the debate. An hour and a half of back and forth, and we have a great panel here to discuss it with you.
It's a lot of heavy breathing and sorrow.
Don't forget, go to blazetv.com.
Yeah, don't forget.
/debate and use the code debate. You can save $40 off your subscription to Blaze.
Why would I want to subscribe to this? Sell it. Hey, after you guys give me your take, then sell me your take. I'm not going to buy in until I hear what kind of smart, insightful, cogent, quick-witted, deeply philosophical, psychosexual, multi-intellectual blather you got to offer. Let me see. Lay the platter out, motherfucker. I will decide if I like the buffet after the fact.
Blaze TV. It's an important time for media, and honestly, we could go down that road, and I'm sure we will, as to how.
It's an important time for media, and I think we can go down that road, and we probably will. I don't know, maybe he'll say something eventually, but so far, nothing.
How ABC actually did during this fiasco, but let's go first to Glenn Beck. We have
Fiasco?
Glenn Beck here from the Glenn Beck program here on Blaze TV.
Remember when I was on Fox and I had the big jar of M&Ms because of Obama and the lies?
You blamed Obama. You wanted to eat M&Ms.
Yeah, well, yes. I haven't had M&Ms for like 4 months. Okay? I haven't had candy or anything.
Lost a lot of weight.
Lost a lot of weight. Where?
This is medication. I need medication.
This is emotional eating?
Yes. That was astonishing.
So Glenn Beck, a grown man who owns this network that everyone else is on, who's, I got to say, dressed like Woody Allen's pallbearer, is eating M&Ms straight out of a package, like he sent somebody to a vending machine at the Blaze studio just to make himself feel better because of the debate we just saw.
Let me introduce Can I introduce the panel? That was me introducing the.
Mm-hmm. He's a total pro too. I forgot to put that part.
Panel, not saying
Sugar's already
talk for
getting
25 minutes.
Everyone's on tilt, Stu.
That's where we are. Okay, Sarah Gonzalez is here as well from Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered.
Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered. Well done, Stu.
We have Liz Wheeler from the Liz Wheeler Show. Steve Dace.
What a weird name.
From the Steve Dace Show.
Need some medication.
The Glenn Beck from the Glenn Beck Show.
Steve.
No.
Right into my veins, brother.
We will get sugar into veins and go to everybody here in a second.
By the way, what's this layout? Is this the 4.5? Are doing it? This looks like a mega church version of the 5.
And let's start with you, Glenn. You You watch this, and you know the stakes. What do you think?
He knows the stakes? No, he doesn't. He knows the frozen burger patties from Sonic.
Well, I wish this steak was well done, but it wasn't.
Brilliant. It's that turn. It's that kind of turn of phrase that I think where Glenn teaches us all why he is a master scion of new media.
I think that Donald Trump was calm.
Okay, I think he's starting with a baseline sarcasm. Is this what it is?
But he did not take the opportunities that she handed him multiple times.
Okay, first of all, where the fuck did you get calm from? He literally yelled, they're eating dogs and cats and they're eating people's pets. Like, where the fuck did you get calm from? I literally thought he was being sarcastic, I gotta say. And then it looked like he just bailed on the sarcasm because nobody took it. Like, nobody laughed at the sarcastic line, so he just pretended he meant it. How many times a day do you think that happens at the Blaze in conversation? People say things that are being verbally ironic or sarcastic, and nobody gets it, so they just pretend it's true. You could almost sum up most of their takes on issues that way.
If you're a low information voter, you're somebody who just watches, occasionally, and you see this, and you're like, oh, she seems nice.
Uh-huh. Or you might be a low information voter where you saw the thing and you were like, she seems normal. The fuck is his problem? He's not calm at all.
She seemed nice. She seemed like she was going to be really strong and effective, and she believes everything you believe.
Okay, those are, I'm a powerful woman mocking gestures, just so you know.
I have never seen as many lies in any debate.
Gibberish.
Maybe multiple debates combined.
Well, yeah, if you just cut out Kamala Harris entirely, yeah. Just go with what Trump is saying, you mean?
The moderators were...
Yeah, just for the record, they're not eating dogs or cats or people's pets. And the people who are eating, the lady on the video that ate the cat that's circulating as a viral video is an American citizen. So it wasn't even people who came there. It's like 5 lies in one weird moment of Trump.
Were completely useless. At least David didn't look at Kamala with doe eyes. She was like, so... what's it like to be so beautiful? I mean, it was amazing. And she looked at...
I gotta say, this seems like projection and fear that brown lady will automatically like brown lady. And so they must be in it together.
Donald Trump with absolute disdain. She couldn't even hide it.
Well, he does stink. Honestly, while his mic is off, he's just... the whole time, Glenn. He smells. He walks in with a full diaper and he walks out with full socks. That's why they're disgusted. It wasn't even personal. They're just like, what the fuck is that? Eyes are stinging.
I think overall...
I'm going to go with citation needed.
It's not going to change anybody's mind. If you were voting for Donald Trump, you're still going to vote for Donald Trump. If you were thinking about Kamala Harris, you're now probably locked into Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
The stupid people probably will go because, she's going to end all of this division. They're doing exactly the same thing they did with Joe Biden. He's a moderate. He's going to bring us back to normalcy.
He did. He passed an infrastructure bill, you dumb son of a bitch. A bipartisan one. They have a bipartisan border bill, for fuck's sake. He did exactly that.
That's what they're doing again. And I think in a very effective way.
Right, because preparation, professionalism, work, taking care in the environment that you're in with respect for the job you are seeking, right, might be the best strategy as opposed to just freeballing it. Because be president, I poop out presidencies. I don't need to even try. Like that. Maybe that isn't the attitude for being the leader of the free world. Maybe just the fact that she prepared makes her more qualified than the dude who thinks he doesn't have to.
For stupid, uninformed people.
And that's the Blaze's primary audience. So he feels like she's stealing his crowd,
That's
I
the
guess.
campaign they're running. They're running it to those people trying to win those votes. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that it was a disgusting effort by the ABC moderators. I would say.
By the way, great. Can I just say, I normally I don't, I don't get on the crew and stuff, but whoever's in the booth, Glenn, obviously, you not only run this network like a well-oiled machine that's full of sand, but also you sure can pick them. Look at this angle. Like, we're cutting to Sarah, I think is her name, and this is the angle we get.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned.
Fabulous. Go right to her. Thanks. Go camera 3, 4, 7, 1. I don't know which one. Fuck. Do you know what we should do? Next time, we'll put everybody's name under the camera, and so when he says the name, I'll just hear it, and then I'll just cut.
And that it was a disgusting effort by the.
That's the shot. That's it. That's and by the way, this is the graphic they made. The first, second, and then they scratch out first because it's Kamala is the idea.
ABC moderators. I would say it was a disgusting production, but a very valiant effort by the ABC moderators to try to push Kamala and give her every opportunity that they could. I mean, we saw her, mention Trump's Project 2025, which has been debunked about a million times. Right.
Fucking Glenn's still over here just slamming his copium pills, just straight up, and not even peanut M&Ms. You're not even just going to go for the illusion of you're eating something healthy because there are nuts involved, Stu. Can you do an intervention?
And nowhere did they fact check her on that. She said,
hold on, there is no fact checking on it. He can deny it, and he has the ability to deny it, and he did deny it. They don't have to fact check her. They can't. They could not say Mr. Trump has no connection to Project 2025, because he does. The people who designed Project 2025 all worked in his administration. The people at the Heritage Foundation that are involved in it that didn't work in the administration gave him a list of judges that he chose from, and every single federal judge and Supreme Court justice he put up for nomination in any of these cases were all from the list the Heritage Foundation gave him. They're the organization behind Project 2025. They can't debunk it because it's fucking impossible. He's just denying it to distance himself. Meanwhile, Agenda 47 is the fucking complete idiot's guide to Project 2025. It's the same shit. Please continue.
Trump will, no question, sign a federal abortion ban, which is just funny. It's laughable because he gets.
All they had to do was ask him, and he said, I would not sign it. But he didn't, did he? He obfuscated, he danced around it. He's like, you won't have to. You won't even be necessary.
Hit from the left on that, and while he's getting hit from the right.
Oh. So that's why he doesn't want to answer the question, because it's a centrist position, maybe, and it scares the shit out of him. Because the other version of that centrist position is I would codify Roe v. Wade into law. If you gave me a bill on my desk that makes the same rules that applied to Roe v. Wade, which was up to viability and only in the third trimester if it's for the life of the mother, because otherwise the fetus can survive outside the womb. Therefore, that's what makes it a baby at that point. And you give everyone all the options as early as possible so that they can make the decision as quickly as possible. So you don't even have any second trimester ones at all, right? That's the point. The only time you would have those a lot of times is rape and incest, right? Because especially where the woman's been controlled by her rapist or controlled by the family member that has impregnated her, right? That's where your second, third trimester abortions, your second trimester abortions come in. And then the third one's just to save the life of the mother in an ectopic pregnancy, effectively a stuck miscarriage. That's what the rules on Roe v. Wade are. That's what that would be codified into law. Pretty fucking simple. She said she would. There are people who hate that and would never vote for her and consider her a murderer for it. And there are people who think it doesn't go far enough and it should be there should be no restrictions on it whatsoever, just as a matter of principle. Well, those people are the same as people who believe you should be able to own nuclear weapons because of the Second Amendment. Doesn't work that way. So you can be attacked from the left and the right on this issue. He can't because he's a wuss.
About not being pro-life enough, right? So he can't win. They didn't fact check him on that.
Also, his main point on abortion is it's a state issue.
Right.
No, it isn't. It's a woman's right. You don't get to, like, state by state, a woman has to decide, which rights, do I get to vote in this state or not? Imagine that. Imagine every other right up for grabs. Well, yeah, you can, we have rules about, your legal protections. You know, you have Miranda rights in these states, but not in these other states. And it's because you don't actually have those rights. You don't have the right to an attorney in Louisiana. You don't have a right to attorney in Iowa, whatever. So if you move to that state and you're in an accident or you're accused of a crime and you can't afford it, it's just our way of brooming poor people out because they can't afford an attorney. And all we have to do is charge them with something. They get broken, have to flee the state.
Well, right,
Sorry.
which
he says with M&Ms in his mouth.
What a fuck was. And so, you have Donald Trump just saying, I rely on the Supreme Court, who says that it's a state's issue, which I think, I understand why he says that. I may disagree, and I may be a little more pro-life on that issue, but I understand.
Well, then call him out on it, stupid. You're not a little bit more pro-life if you can let that fucking slide. You aren't. You're not a pro-life purist if you'll vote for anybody who is moderate on any part of it. Because this is life and death. You believe that IVF is murder.
Understand why he says that.
Yeah, so that he can get elected, so that when he's in office, he can sign a national abortion ban. Because to win over the evangelicals, which he will milk money out of for decades by setting this horror show up, he'll lie to the public, get in there, sign the abortion ban, and they'll say he was the most pro-life person ever, and they'll exalt him and protect him with their own bodies. Like, that's what he's hoping for.
And so, they don't fact check him on that, or her on that. They don't fact check on the fracking thing. She has never said that she wouldn't ban it. And
yes, she has. And again, she cast the tie-breaking vote that allowed for more fracking leases. If she was against that, she wouldn't have cast that vote. If she was a hardliner on that, she wouldn't have done it.
So you just see what turned out to just be a 3-on-1 pile-on. That's just what this is. And it turned into a character assassination, back and forth, sniping at each other. I think that Donald Trump took her bait a little too many times when she...
Well, that's because he's weak. Just for the record.
Talked about the money that he didn't make himself. She talked about being handed these opportunities. Right. Yeah. And he took the bait and started talking about himself and his career. And
yeah, because he's weak. He's a teensy tiny little man with a little mushroom penis and tiny hands and a fucking Fabergé egg ego.
And had to defend his own character rather than talk about the issues that Americans wanted to hear about. Like, how are you going to solve the border issue? How are you going to solve the fact that we have migrants taking over?
We had a border bill. That's how she'll sign that border bill if it passes. That's how she's going to do it. Look at the border bill. She's like, that's what I support. It's a bipartisan thing. We went back and forth, Republicans and Democrats. This is a democracy. This involves compromise. That it's in the bill. He's the one who killed it. The impetus is not on her to explain the border and how she would solve it, because she's already said she would sign the bill that has all the, that plan is laid out. He's got concepts of a plan. He's going to shut the border. Fuck does that mean? Does that mean no trucks get through? No product? No vehicles? What does closing the border mean?
For our cities, how are you going to solve the fact that everything costs more? Let's talk about how we...
Everything doesn't cost more. The price of stuff is coming down because we had supply shock post-COVID. You just want to pretend everything was normal under COVID? That the world didn't shut down? You don't want to pretend that the price of eggs went up because of the amount of money in circulation and not avian flu? You dolt.
We are going to solve these problems that everyday Americans are facing rather than talk about your defense of how your father gave you money.
Yeah. I really at times started wanting every Trump answer to end with a question to Kamala.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Like you
did it a couple times.
You did it a couple of times. You're almost going to have to be the moderator in a situation like this. Liz, what did you think?
I think there's three things that I was.
I think most people are scared I'll be outside their window at some point.
Looking for in this debate. I was looking at Trump's performance, at Kamala's performance, and of course at the role that the moderators played.
Weird. It's good. It's good. So let me get this straight. You were watching the debate and you were looking at three things. The two people debating, that's one thing each, and then the moderators. So the questions asked and their response. I wish I'd thought of that, 'cause I was so busy looking at like the graphics behind them because they were moving. It was like blue, but they would move a little bit because they were screens, and then they would like reset. And I was like, whoa, when are they going to reset? And then they would jump back or whatever because it was on a cycle. And I was like, is it 3 minutes or is it 2 minutes? And I was so focused on that I didn't pay any attention to what's the word I'm looking for? The debate.
And we'll get to Trump's missteps in just a second. But I think the moderators, obviously every one of us has followed along on X. It seems like the collective conservative movement is pretty incensed over how biased the moderators were. And
well, I wouldn't say they're incensed. I think they're whinging like a bunch of toddlers. You know what I mean? I don't think they were pearl clutching. They were bitching. Just saying.
Rightly so. I mean, this was propaganda level. Yeah. It was RFK when he.
Media.
Yeah. It was. It was a disgrace. It was shameful. They should be embarrassed to behave like that. I think it was RFK who said in his speech when he was announcing that he was dropping out of the race, he scolded the mainstream media and he said to them,
which is something he never does.
You are not single-handedly responsible for the downfall of our republic, but you could have stopped it, and you.
I agree. They could have reported on Trump's Epstein connections way earlier. They could have taken seriously the grab him by the pussy shit that he was talking about. The I don't even wait. I just start kissing. And then all the credible sexual assaults where he did precisely that. They could have gone into his records as a businessman and going, oh, not only did he declare bankruptcy 6 times, but the couple of times he got out, he got these sketchy fucking loans from Deutsche Bank. How the fuck did Deutsche Bank? Somebody get Deutsche Bank on the phone. Where'd they get that money that they didn't give a shit whether they got it back? Oh, they got it from the Russians. That's weird. So did they have communications with the Russians about who to dole it out to? Oh, they did. Fascinating. Like, yeah, if the press had treated him like the serious threat he was, we'd be arguing about President Kasich right now. You dumbasses.
You didn't. And that's what I kept thinking when I was watching the moderators and how they handled it. The second part of this was Kamala Harris. I think, and it makes me sad to say this, I think she accomplished...
Get out of the background, you weirdo. We're trying to stare at the weird lady from the Thule Society.
What she set out to accomplish.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to show you another great moment in Blaze Production Value. You know, I may have issues with my production since I run it all myself in a little office in my house. But the one thing I got to create is some sort of... I need to have like a walkthrough in the background that I just put up there. So occasionally it looks like there's someone...
I think, and it
watch, here he comes.
Makes me sad to say this. I think she accomplished what she set out to accomplish with this debate.
Fucking Dave.
Debate. She was very specifically trying to portray herself as empathetic to...
Why would she do that? Oh, I get it. In contrast to the fact that Trump is a proud sociopath.
Liberal women And that's why she appeared very emotional to us. And I think, unfortunately, that lands with liberal women.
She appeared very emotional to them. That's why it doesn't work with us, because emotions are a weakness, and women must be prepared at all times to accept whatever their man puts their way in whatever form it comes, and just perform for him as they should, as a biblical housewife should. And I even made a note right here of what my husband was saying I should say in this particular circumstance. Right.
Kept a list.
She's like that Bruce McCullough character from Kids in the Hall, the kid who always strikes up weird conversations with the thick glasses, And one time I found an apple and it had a bird inside it, right? That kid. She's like if that kid died and came back as the head of the Thule Society. By the way, in case you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, chat room. Thule Society. It's a Nazi society of Germanic. Where is it? Thule Society Encyclopedia.com. Let's see if they have the. It's a cult that a lot of. I want to find a picture. It's the Thule Society women. They were blonde, shockingly. Thule Society women, and they didn't cut their hair. So they had long, super blonde hair, and they were known for it. And so here's the Vril Society, Thule Society, same thing. Here's this is this woman Maria, who is the head of. You can see what I'm talking about. This lady. They all kind of look like this, like all the German Thule Society women, and they would grow their hair out, and they would roll and bind it up into this thing because it would go down to the floor, and then I guess in their occultish rituals or whatever, they would, release the hair or whatever. As an ad for it, occult origins of German secret space program. And here you go. These are an emblem of the Thule Society women. And then they'd grow their hair like fucking, like they're in an M. Night Shyamalan video thing. Yeah. And they groomed them at a very young age. That was the other thing. So there is what's effectively, I guess, a fetish amongst racist, proto wannabe Germans towards this look. So in the neo-Nazi world, getting yourself a Thule kind of woman is meant to be like a prize. Just letting you know. Now, I would also argue that the original Thule Society and Vril Society women are naturally blonde. Not that I don't think anybody's picky these days, but.
Of the lies she told, she is the most.
You must be a fast typer.
Yeah, can you see me in there the whole time?
Let's hear what it was. Let me guess, Charlottesville?
She is shameless. She acts like she has no soul. She looks into the camera, looks us into the eyes, and tells lie after lie after lie.
Jesus Christ. I didn't realize Trump used she, her pronouns.
She lied about how often late-term abortions happen.
Mm-hmm. No, she didn't. What do you mean, that they're rare? Or what was the lie? I don't even remember a lie about the timing of how many there are.
She lied about the governor of Virginia, who did say that he supported babies being born alive after botched abortions being denied medical care.
No, he didn't. That's not what they were talking about. Donald Trump said that women have a baby and then they they decide to execute the baby afterwards. You lying piece of shit. You want to talk about soulless lies? That's what that was.
She lied about the very fine people Charlottesville.
No, she didn't. Glenn was talking about this, so was Stu. Fuck you. I played the whole thing earlier today. Trump himself said there were very fine people on both sides, and some people were just there to protest the taking down of a very important statue that they felt. Yes, the statue of Robert E. Lee, a general in the Civil War who fought for the Confederacy, which is a racist symbol. That's not very fine. What he meant was this idea that there were women walking around fanning themselves going, this was my grandfather. It's horseshit.
Hoax.
Oh my gosh.
That has been debunked even by mainstream outlets.
No, it has not.
At this point.
Snopes. I wish you would have said Snopes.
She
Oh,
lied
Sean
about
Hannity said.
Yeah,
what
why-
are you
yeah,
doing,
why say
Snopes?
Hannity,
man?
yeah.
She lied about January 6th.
In the
She-
same paragraph.
In the same sentence.
Would she lie about January 6th? Oh, that he brought the mob there and he pretends like, and you know what the lie about January 6th was from that was they asked me to give a speech. It was your fucking event, motherfucker.
I mean, like I said, we'll get to Trump's performance issues in a second. She lied about bloodbath, the context that he used that term.
That was in that same paragraph too.
I know, it was just like,
Right. She made a run at stuff. Also, she didn't lie about it. He lied about it. He said economic bloodbath. That wasn't even his first lie about it. His first lie was the cars that are going to flood in. That's what Don Jr. and Eric covered for him with. Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath economically from the cars flooding in from Mexico, from these new factories that are being built down there. And he meant immigrants are going to start slaughtering people. MS-13 is going to start cutting people to pieces. That's what he meant.
like a cornucopia of lies. It was dreadful. She lied about crime data. The reason that crime data appears to be going down is because cities have stopped reporting it to the FBI.
No, they have not.
It's not because crimes have...
Cities do not report their crime data to the FBI. Gibberish. Trump said the same thing. Nonsense. There is no purpose to it. The FBI would not allow them, if they knew there were crimes there, to not report them. Oh my God.
Stopped being committed. She lied about her role in the border crisis. She lied about Project 20.
What'd she lie about? Yeah, I mean, you're reading it. What did she lie about? What was the lie? You can't just say she lied about her role. She wasn't the czar. He lied about it. He called her the czar. She wasn't the czar. She was in charge of dealing with these South American countries and trying to deal with the economic reasons why migrants will come and trying to cut down on that and working with Mexico to slow the tide of people so that to a manageable level. That's what she did. She wasn't the border czar. It wasn't even about the border. She wasn't in charge of the border. She was in charge of that particular immigration problem before they get to the border. Before they get to the border. We don't have a border czar.
2025. She lied about fracking. And yet, how many times did these ABC moderators interrupt?
No, she didn't. She did not lie about fracking. She didn't lie about fracking. She didn't. Just saying. Now, is my sync off? Or is their sync off? Is that what's up? Is that what somebody's saying? I think it's because my computer's getting too hot. I need a new video card. That's what it is. All right. Add that to the list.
Interrupter.
Zero.
Zero times. Absolutely shameful. So then that brings us to the third element.
Also, by the way, you can't just say, it is a, let me help out the Blaze a little bit. Come here, stupid. Listen, it is a form of lying to say someone is lying without saying what the lie was. Especially when you're doing it off of direct quotes. You cannot paraphrase someone's statement and turn it into a lie because you intentionally omit elements of what they said or change the context, which is what you're doing. That's a lie. This young lady, Liz Wheeler, just lied 10 times. That's lying. You don't get to misquote somebody and then use the quote as a way of nitpicking wording, where you're saying you change the context and then make it a contextual lie. That's what she's doing. She said she wasn't for banning fracking in 2020. She might have brought it up in 2019, but she didn't say that, did she? After the primary, when she joined the campaign and she was part of Biden's campaign, from 2020 on, she has not been against it, and she has no plans on being against it going forward, right? She staked out a position. It was not what the voters want. It's not what the voters want now, and she changed and adapted to it because of the pros outweigh the cons. That's why. She said 2020 for a very specific reason. And acting like she didn't specifically say 2020 forward, and clarifying her position, saying, my values have not changed, and from 2020 on, I've been for it, and I intend to be this way going forward. Lying about saying she never said it, when she never said it, she's specifically addressing her policy as vice president and going forward. You're creating a lie that never happened. You can argue that maybe she changed. And you can dive into why did she change. And the problem is if you drill down, you're not going to like what you get. If they drill down and go, why'd she change her mind? She can go, well, actually, as a mitigatory fuel, it's actually better, so we can move away from oil and coal and to a cleaner form, and then we move on to renewables. But it's going to take time for that transition, and our industries will require a fossil fuel to drive those things, and natural gas is probably the best. Natural gas and nuclear are the two best to get us there until we reach a force multiplier in solar, wind, geothermal, and all renewables where their efficiency raises to a level where we can power factories with them. But until that point, we're going to need some form of fossil fuel, and the best of the worst is natural gas. That's what she'll say. And Donald Trump will say, homina, 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 they're eating dogs.
And I'm sorry that I'm taking up more time here than I'm allotted. And that's Trump's performance here. What I was
Also, by the way, can we get Greg Kelly on the line? This is his dream girl. Neither one of them look up. They both are have major social anxiety or something going on. And the two of them together, perfect. They'd never have to look each other in the eyes. They wouldn't even begin to know for years why they hate each other.
Looking for from Trump and what I advised him, what persona I advised him to...
Wait, sorry, real quick. Hold on. You advised him on what kind of persona he should have? Whew. All right, this is going to be good. So I'm guessing you're not going with sparkling or charm or open, friendly even. Let me guess. You went with dark, brooding, maybe like a blonde version of the chick from The Ring who crawls out of the TV set.
To be pleasant but tough.
Pleasant but tough. Do you get the feeling that this is what she says into the mirror before she leaves the house? Okay, Liz. Be pleasant but tough. Ugh, I'm gonna throw up again.
I didn't want him to look like a bully. I didn't want him to look angry. And he did look angry. He needed to stay on message. He had the advantage here.
Did he? How so? Besides, obviously, the way you think, because he's male and rich and orange.
He's on the right side of every one of these issues, not just morally, not just in my opinion, not just because I agree with his politics, but because the vast majority of the American people do. And yet,
No, I don't think the vast majority of people believe that you're going to be able to pay for childcare with tariffs.
Yet instead, he allowed himself.
Also, and I don't think you're on the right side of the infrastructure issue if you never pass one. And the other side does. And there wasn't a material difference between now and then. They didn't. Nobody invented an infrastructure machine. And you're like, God damn it! If this had only happened during my term, right?
To fall for her bait. She tossed out, people don't like your rallies. Were you really successful, or did you get a handout from your father? And he fell for it.
Wait.
Right, because he's weak and stupid, which is why you wouldn't want him to be president. There's reason enough. By the way, wouldn't you want someone who's clever enough to recognize the weakness of the person they're across from in an adversarial situation so that if they were dealing with Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un or something like that, that they would be able to have the self-control to manage themselves at the same time they take control of the other person, knowing what their weaknesses are? Wouldn't you want that person to have the button as opposed to oh, fuck, she said what? Right?
Wait.
He fell.
Honestly, and by the way, for the record, I don't think Trump would flip when he's insulted and push the button. I think it would flip when he's insulted and go play fucking golf and just let Americans die. And if you don't believe me, go look at 2020.
Wait, I have to tell you, you're right. But I don't think I could have endured that. That was
really?
90 minutes. That was 90 minutes of character assassination after character assassination, and lie after lie after lie. At some point,
Glenn, real quick, hey buddy, you don't do anything. You're a blathering puss. You're not the kind of person who has committed the crimes that Trump has committed. So you're not aware of your guilt. You would be righteously indignant. You would wig out like, how dare you? Because that's what innocent people do in those situations. Because of all of Glenn Beck's faults, insofar as I know, he has never sexually assaulted a woman. Right? And so if he were accused of that, he would be horrified. He would barely hold his shit. I have no doubt. Right? And if he did get upset by it, he would be outraged emotionally, but he wouldn't be angry. He wouldn't be, fuck you for accusing me. He'd be like, I would never, right? That's where he would go. Because he wouldn't. Because for all of his faults, he's not a rapist. Unlike Donald Trump. Donald Trump sat there and took it because not only does Donald Trump not give a fuck about those charges, and when people pull him out, he knows they're true. Even when he's defending himself, even when he's attacking the people who are going after him as being fake and lying about him and all that kind of stuff, he's doing it in a mechanical, perfunctory, unemotional way because he knows it's true.
You become a ticking time bomb, and she knows that.
Right.
That's why
you have to resist it, though, right?
Yeah,
because
but,
you know what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the idea. If I was debating a woman and she did that with me, I would react with a laugh when she said it, the same way Harris reacted with a laugh when he called her a Marxist. See how that works? Because she isn't one. See how that works? You don't get wound up by other people accusing you of shit if there's not a seed of truth, or it's not believable, or you don't have a defense for it.
Well, I guess I have higher expectations. Perhaps the president of the United States should be able to be like, okay, I'm going to ignore that. I'll blast her on truth. So
right! Look at that! Liz! Holy shit! You just stumbled on it, dum-dum. You just came to the conclusion that everybody on that panel should come to, is that of those two people who are running for office, the only one who's qualified is Kamala Harris because she can fucking control herself. And Donald Trump is a goddamn toddler. Good Lord, they're so close. She's so close. Liz Wheeler, you're so close to it.
social later tonight
that's a good
with
point.
a cat meme.
Yeah.
But right now, I will just ask her questions. What role did you play in the border crisis? How many illegal aliens came? How many young people have been murdered? How many children have been raped?
Yes.
What are you going to do differently than you have already done?
Well, can I help you, Liz? The number of illegal immigrants in this country is lower than it was in 2015. The genuine number is close to 10.3 million people. The all-time high was somewhere in the order of almost 13 million, 14 million. Even the outside number, the reason why the number looks so big is because of the number of people, because of Title 42, who could leave and come back all they want. And remain in Mexico, if anybody came across, you just immediately put them back. You didn't adjudicate their case. You didn't question whether they deserved asylum. You didn't put them through the system. And so you couldn't deny them a chance to come back in and claim asylum again in the future because they've never been adjudicated. You've never taken their fingerprints and said, this person's already been here and we told them to get fucked. And so they could come back through again and again and again. And what did you create? A fucking conveyor belt for the cartels. Donald Trump created the human trafficking and the drug trafficking at the border. Because the remain in Mexico thing, and I wouldn't doubt it at some point, Trump's just getting money from the cartels. You want to go straight to fucking whether Putin or China's paying for him? You think this guy's above taking money from drug dealers? Think he gives a shit? He thinks people who do drugs have it coming anyways.
Single topic. There are things, I know he knows these things. He talks about them.
Mm-hmm. No, he does not. And talking about something doesn't mean you know about something. He talks around these things.
And I didn't think that he stayed as disciplined as I wanted him to, so I feel disappointed.
I will tell you, the thing that I think that she had him on the...
It's, hey, asshole, both of you. It's a debate. It's a debate. Nothing happens right afterwards. Your hand is not in a fucking vice that every time the other person does well, it starts to crush your hand. There's no guillotine above the two of you. You could argue win, lose, or draw afterwards, and that in and of itself is its own debate. So it is not the highest pressure situation a candidate can find themselves in. It simply is not. And if they snap during a debate, why the fuck would you trust them to make a decision on things like Ukraine and Gaza and the timing of when we would have a response militarily to an attack on our soldiers, our land, our sovereignty, or our people? If you snap in a conversational TV debate, why the fuck would I want you near the real levers of power if you can't handle it there? Good Lord.
The ropes with "you're weak, you're weak, you're weak." Nobody thinks Donald Trump is weak.
Glenn, I know he's weak. You both just said why he's weak. Oh my fucking God, I'm gonna lose my mind. Liz Wheeler just described how weak he is. They just showed that he was weak, you dipshit. She was saying he couldn't stop himself. He took the bait. He reacted emotionally to this. That is a form of weakness. And a disqualifying amount of weakness. Of course he's weak. He only attacks women and Ted Cruz, you fucking asshole. Yes, I'm going to say it. Just going to say. I'm joking, by the way, about losing my mind. I'm sort of quoting David St. Hubbins in this. Can someone check me on this? I'm losing my mind. Right? I'll just want to say for the record, Glenn, I know Donald Trump is weak. You know how I know? I've seen more of his rallies than you have. I've watched all of his speeches, and I saw every single day that he was out during COVID being a part of the daily press briefing. He's weak. He's emotionally weak. He's intellectually weak. He can't read or speak or comprehend. He's weak on trade. He doesn't know what a fucking tariff is. He's weak. And the weirdest part is Liz just explained to you, and you all saw it yourself, that he's so weak that it took almost nothing. It was a totally predictable attack. No one should be shocked that at a debate, and the one debate they're probably going to have, that Kamala Harris came at him and went, "World leaders are laughing at you and your crowd size is small." And again, the fact that his response was, "Wait a second, we have huge rallies and she can't even have rallies." Like, the fact that he's that weak is exactly what Liz Wheeler was talking about.
But she was just playing that card over and over and over again.
What card? What card, Glenn? If he's not weak, there's no card. Do you understand? You can't play that card with me, dum-dum. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. I'm having too much fun. If I was on a fucking panel with these people, you think I'd flip my fucking lid the way Trump did? You know what I mean? Like, do you have any grasp that you guys are all arguing for his weakness? Whew, this is good.
And just to get under his skin.
Specific stuff, and to try to get under his skin. So I feel like
she successfully got under his skin. Stu, fuck you, man. Again, if she tries and fails, that means he's stronger than she thought. He wasn't. As a matter of fact, it was easy. She didn't even have to try hard. She got him every single time. Every time. There wasn't a single attack that she did that didn't drive him nuts. He couldn't let anything go. Because he's a big fupa.
We opened up the refrigerator and we pulled out a bottle of Coke and we've just been shaking it for like 20 minutes.
I want to do some Coke, Stu.
Steve, I have to.
It's about to explode.
Steve is ready. We have a video of Steve watching it like this. I mean, it was like,
all right, what? I don't know who these guys are. I know I've seen Liz Wheeler before, and I know the other lady has that show that sometimes that British actor, or is he Australian? I think he's British, who was in the last Rambo movie or whatever. Is the sniper's been in a few things, and he went right wing and that kind of shit. He and I had it out a couple of times, and then he blocked me because I don't lose. That's really why. But I don't know who the fuck this guy is, and I can't wait. Thankfully, some new meat. That's what they call him around here.
He's fired up.
He's
ready.
Yeah.
Fired up, ready to go, Steve.
Why would he be fired up and ready to go? Dana Gould's ugly twin.
What we got?
Let me start with this. Allow me to be the first to congratulate David Moore on his appointment as press secretary for President Kamala Harris. I mean, that was an outstanding audition, and I can't think of a better name or another name that we will see offered up for that position come January. That aside, this...
Okay, that was kind of pedestrian, all right? Don't know the guy, but that's where he's going with this, the idea that they were working for her. That's the standard right-wing line, okay? I mean, I don't think we have to call the wambulance yet, but we definitely, he might have to go to the nurse.
This was the DeSantis-Hannity debate with Newsom in reverse.
So you're saying Hannity attacked Newsom and helped DeSantis. So DeSantis and Hannity teamed up and attacked Newsom, and you thought that was unfair, and also Newsom still won. Cool.
And what you saw in that debate is Newsom walked into a situation where all the questions were going to be asked from the premise of one of his opponent. And now Hannity, Sean actually came with like facts and stuff, and stats.
Yeah, totally. It's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not drawing a moral equivalency, but it was certainly a situational one. And
this does seem like a shook up bottle of Coke. I mean, not since Mark Levin has stared down at his feet while listening to an answer from Donald Trump have we heard such excitement. Can we go back to Liz Wheeler?
Watched Gavin Newsom, who himself is a sociopathic level liar, completely unraveled and undone, and his political brand tainted. I mean, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that wasn't what happened at all. So this guy thinks that DeSantis won the Newsom debate on Hannity, and it's forever harmed Gavin Newsom. Really? That's this guy's premise. Okay, and that's his springboard into how he feels about how this debate went, Harris and Trump. Notice he's not going anywhere near how Trump behaved. He'll probably end with that, but it probably points to that it sucked so bad, it's why he's got to front load it with all these excuses.
They were left with her because they couldn't call him out of the bullpen after what happened in that event. That's what situationally...
Wait. Okay, so he thinks Harris is the candidate because they were going to broom her and Biden and replace them with Newsom, whoever, and because of the Hannity-DeSantis debate, Gavin Newsom was so heavily tainted from that debate that he can't be the candidate. Okay, it's a narrative, it's a concept, it's bullshit. I don't know where it fucking came from. It seems to be completely just pulled out of this guy's ass. Because that's not the reality at all. If anything, one of the reasons Newsom didn't go for it in this particular instance is A, Kamala Harris is completely capable of doing this, and B, he's got a long fucking runway. He doesn't have to push himself in front of the first woman of color to run to get his shot. He's building a legacy and he's smart enough to do it, right? As governor of California. He's aiming down the line. He doesn't have to, he's in no fucking hurry, right? Which, again, shows that he has the temperament and the intelligence to actually do it when the time comes, right? It's the two marshmallow theory, one marshmallow now or two marshmallows in a little while if you can wait. He's clearly capable of that, which is good in a leader, I'm just saying.
Occurred here to Trump. It is very clear Let me speak as someone who has been a campaign aide. Let me speak as someone who has done debate prep with the presidential candidate. It is very obvious he did not listen to his debate prep team at all. It is.
Real quick, I don't know who he worked for, but is that why the person that you prepped lost too? Because you weren't on his team, and you sure as fuck weren't on Biden's. And did you? When would you have worked with W? I don't think so. So you've worked with losers, I guess. Is this your complaint about them as well?
It is very obvious he had no plan at all. It is
well, yeah, he has a concept of a plan, though.
Very obvious he went in there and just thought, I'm going to wing it.
Right, which is insulting to the office of the presidency and immediately disqualifying if you actually give a shit about the country, which none of you do.
That he should have a canned answer. I mean, the idea that they didn't fact check her on what even Snopes and PolitiFact has said is a lie about Charlottesville, but
it's not a lie. It's not a lie. They give him the benefit of the doubt because he danced around this like anti-white supremacist bullshit in the beginning. But there were not very fine people on both sides. And he was referring specifically to Daughters of the American Confederacy. I don't want to hear this shit anymore. And this is not even close to the biggest criticism. Who gives a rat's ass? It's one of the emotional reasons to run against him. It's not going to change a vote on his side of the aisle. How about this? Maybe you fuckers are talking about this because he said he has concepts of a plan about healthcare after 7 fucking years. And he's yelling, they're eating the dogs. And that's the amount of prep he did, was watching viral videos and misconstruing the entire content of them.
But he didn't pull that out, which you said. Instead, he quoted from Fox News hosts, which is actually going to play into her narrative.
Yeah, big time.
Okay? The statement...
Well, what is he going to do? Quote a Blaze host and be even dumber?
That he made in his closing statement should have been the first thing he said, regardless of any question that was asked.
Right, like she did, which you guys castigated her for having a canned answer and disregarding the first question and just saying whatever she wanted, even though her first answer involved stuff about the economy because her opening statement would have anyways. Right, so she should have done he should have done what she did, and he didn't and couldn't. So that makes him a better choice for the presidency because I guess the Blaze's moniker is "Fuck America" now.
And that should have been a repeated theme. Why haven't you done these things over and over and over?
Because it's ridiculous. Because A, she's the vice president, and B, they brought down inflation. They've kept wages rising while they brought down unemployment, which was spiked under him. She dealt with this. They left us this horrible mess, and we've been cleaning it up ever since. And then once we get it cleaned up, then we can start building on that. That's how she answers it. Do you want to just walk into rakes all night, you dumb motherfuckers?
Again. He took the bait over and over and over again.
Because he's weak and stupid, as Liz. Thank you, Liz, for pointing out. Liz Wheeler, everybody. Thank you for pointing out that Donald Trump is a weak, limp dick, little mushroom tip wiener with tiny hands. Thank you, Liz. Thank you. You're right. You're right, Liz. No one said it better tonight. Liz, you pointed out that not only is he weak, but why he was weak, and you broke it down. Thanks so much. Very much. And now you can, I guess, peel off your fake skin and go back to becoming a cast member on V.
And over again, it felt like he was in the White House, and we're running on his record. And
he does have a record. She doesn't. I mean, she's part of the administration, but as the vice president, she is yet to be able to implement her own policies as president. He had 4 years. He was the actual president. See how that works? He was president. He does have a record. She's the vice president. She's participated in stuff. She's passed the tie-breaking vote on a bunch of bills and that kind of stuff because she's part of the administration and because the Senate was as closely divided as it was. But when she's president, she's in the driver's seat. Yes, you're right. Also, Trump does have a record. He has a criminal record.
And he was defending his record, which is better than theirs, but...
No, it is not. His growth was on margin in the trajectory that he picked up from Obama, and it kept going in that direction. in no massive way, contributed more to the debt than any single president in history, even before COVID. He botched the response to COVID, bullshitted his way through it, wanted everything opened up because he cared more about the stock market than Americans, and then he came up with this cockamamie bullshit scheme to have the military inject vaccines into people's arms in the parking lots of Walmarts and Walgreens all over the fucking country that never happened. He also, by the way, ran on getting us out of Afghanistan and didn't even fucking try. He admitted last night in the debate that they violated the Doha agreement, so he was never going to follow through. He was going to stay. Remember, he's like, we're going to leave with dignity and strength, but we were going to keep Bagram. Okay, first of all, you can't leave and stay at the same time, so fuck you. Secondly, if they violated all the Doha agreement stuff, that just means in your second term, you weren't going to follow through. You were going to increase the troop presence. You were going to start killing Taliban again and go for it. But since you lost, you just decided, fuck it, let it roll.
But see, it's a little bit like when I was on the Cruz campaign and we ran against Rubio. And
all right, that explains a lot. that explains. Did you guys hear that sentence? Like this guy is brought on for his expertise. Just if I could, real quick. Where are you working? What would you do? So you worked on debate prep for a presidential campaign. When you worked with Ted Cruz.
Than theirs, but see, it's a little bit like when I was on the Cruz campaign and we ran against Rubio on immigration. Mm-hmm. Even if Rubio beat us on a talking point in a given news cycle, the issue itself was a loser for him because of the Gang of Eight. He could never outrun that. And so
he never outrun it. He was in consideration to be Trump's VP. Ted Cruz has effectively just been a place to his job is just to walk around so that Trump can rest his nuts on top of Ted Cruz's head. Congratulations, asshole. You worked your ass off to put Ted Cruz in a situation where he had to pelican Trump's balls.
I would always say to the campaign, let's stay on this issue. Let's not get on any other issue, because the issue itself is a loser for Rubio.
Yeah. And you nailed it, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we can argue with that. I mean, you cannot argue with success.
Every time it comes up. That's what Trump walked into here tonight. He talked way too much about it. Everybody wanted to talk about Trump, and so did he. And he allowed them to do that.
That's always true. And by the way, no, they didn't. At least 3 times to my count, Harris was like, we deal with this guy, but we need to be talking about what the American people care about. I want to do this. I want an opportunity economy. That's what I'm selling. This is where I come from. This was my background. I was a prosecutor. I started because a friend of mine was being sexually assaulted. She came to live with us. Like all that stuff that we're now familiar with her background story that she was introducing. That's her talking about her without alienating fucking anybody. They didn't want to talk about Trump. They have to.
Which means even when he was good, he's letting her off the hook and not forcing her to defend her record. That's a win for her. No matter if he drops.
Again, what is this angle? What is this camera shot? What's happening? What is this? This is bullshit. I'm getting aggravated now. This is just bad production. This is the Blaze. You can have visually, you can be shit, or the content can be shit. You can't have both.
So run, spot run, or whatever the point is he drops, if she doesn't have to defend her record, she's looking at the watch, man, okay, that's 5 more minutes. The clock is ticking. I'm getting out of here alive. And you could see she's visibly nervous at the start. Mm-hmm. She is shaky at the start. You could watch. It's a little bit like a rookie pitcher in their first start in the majors, right? Kind of all over the strike zone at first. They get through that first inning like, I can do this. And as the innings go on, they get stronger and stronger.
Right. That you just described someone adapting to a new experience at lightning fucking speed and winning. And you're arguing that the loser, who's on his 7th fucking debate as a presidential candidate. And not just the broad ones, but like the actual debates against the other candidate. It's in his 7th one. And he's fucking handling it like a douchebag. Again, how are you guys making an argument that Donald Trump should should be in office? Because this is like, the next question for all these people should be, why in the fuck, if all you're saying about him is true, why would you would want him anywhere near the levers of power? He's a nut. He's a weakling. He's an egomaniacal sociopath.
And the number one thing that could not happen, I thought tonight, is he could not, and I said this to you before the debate, he could not let her walk out and be seen as a palatable presidential figure.
Too late.
To a plurality of Americans, and he did that, okay?
Well, that's because he was too busy making himself unelectable to make her unelectable.
Now, there's a long way to go here, and I didn't think he performed well in any of the debates last time, and he still won. There could be a Comey letter. There's organic events we could not.
Yeah, that. You know, you're winning when you're hoping that there's a scandal somewhere that you haven't seen, which doesn't exist. Like maybe she's got a son named Hunter.
Possibly foresee for the next 56 days, but his.
You do realize that if there's a Comey letter coming, it's going to be about Trump, right? It's not going to be about her. She's been a prosecutor. She's been a DA, a prosecutor, a senator, and a vice president. She's as clean as they come. She doesn't have any problems, dum-dum. Meanwhile, your guy is an adjudicated rapist, a 34 count fraudster, a person who literally was like wagging around national secrets in front of the Russians, the North Koreans, and fucking anybody who could buy a table at Mar-a-Lago, who committed voter fraud, last week or 2 weeks ago, was it? When he did his primary vote, because that's not his house. He lied about his residence. It's voter fraud. It's a rental property. You can't live there. Mar-a-Lago can't be a home address. That's the law. You can't list it as your home address. If you can't list a fucking Holiday Inn, you can't list Mar-a-Lago. And these assholes are like, he should be president. This is a guy who cares about the country.
Job.
If he's that rich, why didn't he have a fucking regular house? Why didn't he just eat the fucking tax issue on Mar-a-Lago and just live there? Stop renting it out. Why not turn it into a private home again? If he's rich, if he's really that rich, right?
And our job is tougher now than it was 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, first of all, what isn't your job just reporting the news and reporting based on your values? Why? And you'll recall, remember how yesterday I was talking about like Stu and who was the other person we were talking about? Yeah, I think it was Stu. It was like abundantly aware that after the debate they were going to have to do some cleanup. He was really nervous. This was when I did the video before the debate, where Stu was talking about how like you could tell he was prepping himself. Like Trump's going to come out and he's going to say some fucking bullshit, and I'm going to have to spend the next 2 weeks cleaning up this nonsense. Right? That's exactly what happened. Stu, I don't know why you can't predict anything fucking else. Yeah, everything else should be pretty, like Life at the Blaze should be pretty self-explanatory. You should know what's coming. Glenn's full of shit. You know it. Don't pretend. At the same time, if you could spot that, why can't you spot everything else?
Because now he allowed her to, and it's clear he didn't listen to Tulsi Gabbard. What did Tulsi Gabbard do? Zeroed in on one or two issues. Mm-hmm. And just dissected her with those and deconstructed her before she could run off. They didn't start off 3-on-1.
Hang on. You think he was going to listen to a woman? You think he was going to let a woman who lost her run and was never really a contender and left the party and just, tail between her legs. You really think, first of all, you think he's going to listen to anybody, but you think he's going to let a woman give him advice? For real? Dude, we're still talking about Trump, right? Because this isn't even true of Glenn.
What happened is they ganged up on him when they realized that he was going to take the bait and they didn't have to be afraid.
Or he was just lying like an asshole because he wasn't prepared, and so he defaulted to bullshitting his way out of it. Which, if he had listened to Tulsi and focused on some issues, he might have memorized some new material and presented this thing, dazzled everyone with bullshit, but stuck to a baseline understanding of an issue. But then he wouldn't have been Trump, would he? He can't be him and those things.
And that piled on as the event went on over and over again. If I'm on the campaign, here's what I'm doing. This never happened. We're never addressing it. I'm not doing a rally bitching and moaning about the.
Oh, wait, you think you can stop him from bitching and moaning about what people are going to say about this debate in his next rallies that come out? You think he's not going to come out like, everybody said we won, but this son of a bitch said that she made me, I did not. They are eating dogs, and we did win 2020. Like, of course that's what he's going to do, dummy.
I'm going to let shows like us do it, okay? It's losers bitch about the moderating debates when they...
Oh, I see. So you'll be like surrogate losers for him. Nice work if you can get it, shithead.
Leave a debate among the campaigns. That's our job. We should do that. But if I'm the campaign, I'm not talking about it. He shouldn't talk about it.
You call him. Call him. Ted Cruz has got his number. Yeah, he makes Ted Cruz like FaceTime him every so often and like bend over and show his butthole like he's not like smuggling drugs into prison. Do it for me, Ted. Do it. Show me the little bag of white powder. There it is. Okay, bye, Ted. Anyways, that's Ted Cruz. I make him do that every so often. He's got his number. Call him. Have Ted Cruz call him. I got advice for Trump. Give him the advice. Hey, asshole, he thinks he won 99-11.
It's never happened, and I'm hitting the road tomorrow and getting back on message, okay, that we can't...
What message? That was the message. They're eating dogs. You can write that's the message. What other message is there? What do you think he got diverted into talking about fucking rando like economic policy?
Afford another 4 years of this because we have to look at it the way we would if we were them.
If you were us, you would. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. What does this asshole think we think when we see him and the campaign?
If we were them, what would we be saying here tonight? All right.
She ran out the clock.
Yeah, CNN, I don't have to turn it on.
Look at this. She won. She ran out the clock. There's not even agreement amongst them. Listen to everybody kick in. I know I'm running late, but give me a second.
What would we be saying here tonight? All right.
She ran out the clock.
Yeah, CNN, I don't have to.
She won. She ran out the clock, and then his answer.
Turn it on. All right. John King last time was Joe Biden's got to go. They're going to be orgasmic tonight.
Yes.
Move on. This never happened. Don't spend the next days and weeks wasting time on the ABC moderators. They're not on the ballot. No one can vote for or against them. Just hit the campaign tomorrow. This never occurred and get right back on message.
And what's the message from Trump? They were so unfair to me. I don't know why. First of all, you'd have to work for Ted Cruz to be this fucking deluded. Chat room, I gotta call the night because I ran late again, and I apologize, and I thank you guys for sticking with me. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. It's an amazing live stream. I know you're right. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream on the interwebs, and on top of that, the primary site where you can see Hal Sparks like no one else can Hal Sparks. And I will continue to Hal Sparks until I don't have to say Hal Sparks all the time because it's a marketing gimmick that I learned from Trump. And you can't argue with success in that regard. If you don't believe me, ask Hal Sparks as he's Hal Sparksing. Now, that's it. That was their natural reaction to what happened. They're pissed, lost, angry, and they're still deluded enough to think that Donald Trump can be someone else. He can't. If he was, they wouldn't even, he'd be Kasich. They wouldn't be talking about him. He'd be Dick Cheney. He'd be all the people they pretend to hate, who believe the same policies they do, but don't have the messianic touch with this particular group of dipshits, and therefore they can't milk them for money, so the Blaze can't sell them a subscription because nobody in Kasich's camp or in fucking Ted Cruz's camp or whatever they're just gonna tune into fucking Cruz's podcast and ignore everything else. And you can't run an entire right-wing media empire off the back of off of policy. I love you guys. I will see you later. It's just kind of a joy, isn't it? Isn't it fun just watching these guys flip out? Oh, thanks for the Hal Sparksing bonus. I appreciate that. Don't forget, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or any of these things, hit a like, give a thumbs up, all those kind of things. Anything you can do to kind of prod the algorithm, let them know we're here. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon show is later in the day. It's an hour later in the afternoon, starts at 4 o'clock. And you're like, oh, that means you'll go even later. Maybe. A lot of stuff to cover. I'm just saying maybe. It's true. But until then, blessings to you and to the kidney.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Oh, dear. Hope that's true. Because you never know. But, yeah.